I thought we were going to start at 6, so I got up late. Sorry, guys.
Oh no,
Oh,
you're
you're good,
fine. I
man.
mean, Granny put in his tweet 4, and I was like, Granny, we never start before 5, and he was like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. So I was like, well,
Been a while,
we'll
man.
go live at 5. We'll get done with our BS. We'll sit here and talk to people for a little while, and then Uber could come in, and
Yeah, yeah.
Adam's supposed to come in at some point, and maybe Smackberg. I think Smack said that he was going to join. So
Oh, yeah.
Yo, everybody in chat, go ahead and, if you don't mind, head over to the purple and drop Uberfluff a follow. Go ahead and get a stream pulled up. Really good dude if you haven't ran into him already.
Uber Fluff 94.
We are going to be finding out momentarily exactly what made him just say the hell with the kick. I don't blame him whatsoever. But yeah, go ahead and check him out over on the Twitch. I'll just go ahead and say it on Twitch.
Cheers, guy.
Yeah, I don't think they. I don't think they were now there for a while. Twitch was like, "Don't say kick."
Yeah.
If you're over an affiliate, don't say kick. But they kind of loosen that, and they're letting people multi-stream and everything now. So
Yeah. I mean, Kick always had the position that you could multi-stream anyway, so you don't get in trouble for talking about other platforms.
yeah,
There. But
yeah,
yeah. So
yes, he's here, Vixen.
in answer to your question, so yeah, look, I mean, I'll preface it by saying that we can't categorically prove that anything has taken place behind closed doors. Realistically,
Correct,
we're just going
correct.
based on what has been released by the ex-employee and what's been shown to be the case with regards to the way that they handle particular content creators and their somewhat depraved behavior. So I guess it comes down to a pattern that you sort of have to read into to figure out whether or not there's any validity to what Melissa may have said, what she did say, and whether or not those things may have occurred in the workplace. I guess for me, the difficulty is that I think one of the key things in life is to maintain, your morals and ethics. I think it's pretty key. No matter what else happens, if you can't stand by that, then you're likely to get blown in the wind and taken down all kinds of roads that you don't necessarily want to end up in. And it also the thing is that fundamentally you aren't really a person unless you have something that you stand for. In my mind, there has to be a line somewhere that you draw it, and it doesn't matter whether or not you may get benefit for crossing that line. You shouldn't ethically do that. Just like I don't walk over people in the workplace in order to further my own career, I won't do that in any other aspect of my life. So when it came down to what Melissa said, particularly pertaining to the way that they were discussing bringing over that Twitch streamer who also was going through cancer or is going through cancer, and that they were essentially saying that they could bring her across to Kick for a lower than market price because she'll be willing to accept the lowball offer given her current health status. That was, pretty shocking to say the least. I know that businesses do what businesses do, and fundamentally they are geared towards exploiting systems and people for maximum profit gain. That's kind of just the way that it is. I don't like it, but I accept it because I can't change that about the world. But that, in and of itself, shows a significant lack of humanity and empathy and compassion. And I am just not comfortable associating myself with that kind of behavior. Now, again, I don't know whether or not that actually occurred, but until such time as it's directly addressed and addressed in a way that I find to be satisfactory, which requires some humility on Kick's part, then I'm not really willing to partake in the platform at this stage.
Yeah, that would make it a lot easier, right? If they would just come out and address the stuff. Like, they know that all this stuff has been said, but yet they haven't made an effort to actually address any of it.
Now
people
I think they are tonight. Because Steak Eddie is he's bringing back a weekly thing where he brings in content creators and they're going to do it every Saturday night. And he's going, and I will give people credit, because there are people that were kick first partners, whatever, the first
Yeah.
partner group that they ever had, and they said, you bring me on there, I'm going to ask you hard questions about what's going on and where you guys are going and why things haven't been implemented, and all this stuff. So hopefully I may have to tune into that tonight and see, if they answer some of those allegations.
Yeah, well, I mean, for what it's worth, I sent through a big, long screed of a message to Santa Maria, or what, I don't actually know if that's his real name, but the dude who's essentially the community representative on Twitter, because he posted saying that you can send through requests. So I sent a big long screed to him, and
Hey,
whether
I
or
even
not he
tried to
responds
tag
to that,
Stay
or
Goody.
yeah. Whether or not he
Like,
responds to that, or whether there's any discussion about it. Basically, I just said, look, you don't have to address me directly. I understand that I don't fucking matter in the scheme of things, but irrespective of all of that, I think that you'll find that there's probably a lot of people with the same question on their mind, and I think that this is something that you definitely need to address. And I don't think it needs to be a he said, she said kind of scenario, because that's just going to look bad on you. You need to take ownership of it, irrespective of whether or not you can categorically prove one way or the other that it did or didn't occur. Because I mean, I guess the thing about it is, for me, with what Melissa said, I struggle to see what she has to gain out of all of this, because it's not like she's a content creator. It's not like she's doing it specifically for clout. She's not trying to save face. She's essentially throwing all of this out there and making herself the pariah of the Kick community, and drawing the ire of all of the creators who decide that they want to basically suck, Kick's dick, more or less, which means that essentially she's putting herself in a position of direct abuse and potentially legal liability if Kick decides that this is tantamount to defamation. So I just don't know why she would do it if she didn't think that it actually happened, or didn't actually experience it in the workplace.
Now, do you think that they're waiting until they have like an internal investigation, so that they can, if people were involved in doing that stuff, that they can go ahead and just can their ass, or before they come out and publicly acknowledge it, they could at least come out and be like, hey, here's what we're doing. This is the steps that we're taking. As soon as we find out more information, then we'll let you know, and stuff like that. That way people aren't left in the dark.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, you could well be right. They may be investigating it behind closed doors. I would say that there probably are some conversations happening, because obviously this kind of stuff, and it's been sort of a pattern of behavior with Kick with regards to shit going south. So they may well be trying to figure out a way of dealing with it internally, but at the end of the day, they need to communicate that with the community and essentially people at large, because otherwise it's just radio silence is essentially almost an admission of guilt, even if it isn't.
Yeah,
What
it just
I mean?
makes it look like you're not doing anything, and
Correct.
not making an effort to do shit. I mean, because regardless if you have that stuff going on within your corporation, you gotta eliminate it quick.
Yeah.
If not, you're not gonna exist anymore. That's the thing. Like, they brought all these streamers over. The big streamers, what are they gonna do? They're gonna be able to hop back over to the other platform. They're gonna be good to go. The small streamers is what it's gonna hurt. I mean, all this shit, it hurts the small guy every time.
Yes, it always does. Yeah.
And it's terrible. But then again, when you spend all this time promoting nothing but the big people and stuff like that too, you already show exactly what you care about the small people. So essentially, I mean, it's a platform that if they were to raise small people, then they would make more money off of sub revenue and stuff like that than what they would, just.
Thanks, somebody enjoy this bald ass head.
I think he's muted.
Yeah, no, I was just muted for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Go ahead, Uber.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think one of the complicated things about the relationship with Kick is the fact that, they're not building their business off of the back of streamers. Like, they're bringing over large content creators not because it attracts an audience to watch them on Kick, because they don't make a fucking dime from Kick. It's a lost leader. It's designed and geared as a marketing strategy to bring people across to stake, at least at the moment. That may change in the future, I don't know, but for now, that's the only way that they can continue to prop up and fund Kick is by funneling people from Kick to Stake. So
now, Steak Eddie did put out a statement saying that Kick is profitable.
Well, it can't be.
That's what I was thinking.
That's a brain dead fucking statement. It doesn't make $1. All of the money that gets paid through subscriptions goes directly to the creator and then the service fees to Stripe. That's it. Where do they clip the ticket? Where's the money coming from?
Yeah, no, with 95.5.
There's no ads.
There's no ads right now.
There's no brand deals. There's nothing.
Maybe they're considering Kick being profitable because they're not taking away like what it's I don't know. Are they figuring in like the tax write-off they get for giving streamers money to gamble on Stake?
I would have to assume that if they're making that statement at all, that they'd be saying that the amount of people that they're bringing across to Stake as a result of investing in Kick is offsetting the cost of maintaining Kick. That would be the only way that you could argue that it was profitable. But in and of itself, as an entity, it is not profitable. It is a loss leader. That is what it is designed to be. So I don't know what that tweet is. I mean, it's supposed to probably appease the fucking idiots who don't have the ability to, critically engage. But that's
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Like, I don't know their whole thing, man. Like, are they picking the worst people they could possibly pick for like these office jobs and shit like that? And they're just, it's like these people are just running rampant, man, doing whatever the hell they want to do instead of being professional. Because, like, why should I, as a content creator, abide by any of the Kick rules if the people that are sitting there making the rules and shit like that aren't even abiding by them?
Well, now let me say this: with the allegations, let's kind of break them down. We don't know. There's no way until more people come out that we would ever know what might be going on at the office. We don't know. Now the KD Twitch streamer, she did actually confirm. Now, she didn't say the amount of the deal, but she did confirm that a deal was offered from Kick. That's the Twitch streamer that had cancer.
Yeah.
Now, the mother and Jake Future came out and made a statement saying, now that's the disabled streamer, saying that Kick has been nothing but good to them, and their payments have always gone through, and the gifts, and they've been asked if they need anything, if they needed anything at all, they were given to them. So that one is kind of, it might be debunked. That claim might be debunked. Now, what staff members might have said behind closed doors, we don't know. Now,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, they might get off the phone with them, and then directly after they get off the phone with them, start talking shit. You never know.
They could. They definitely could. Now,
but the main thing is, like, I guess at that point in time, they're being respectful to those people. So, like, that gives that impression to the people that they're associating with, that, it's a really good platform. But come out and acknowledge this shit, man. Like, don't keep hiding from it.
And I will throw this out there too. There are also some of the same allegations against Twitch by people that worked at Twitch. Now, I don't know if Kick and Twitch decided to go get the year 2005 gamers that were on COD to come and be in their office staff that were just on there all the time, dropping hard R and saying everything they could possibly put out there. And, because remember what we had to live through in
Oh man.
Yeah,
COD
COD
lobbies,
lobbies were
man.
like fucking legitimate cancer, like the worst place on the internet. But I mean, yeah, I mean the history of Twitch is an interesting one. Not to defend the platform because I think there are fundamental flaws with it as well, but I think probably the one thing that you have to consider when you're talking about Twitch is the fact that they have existed since, fuck, when was it? It would have been 2008, 2009, Justin TV, right? That was the progenitor to what Twitch is today. And that would have been a completely different thing to what it is now. And that evolution of culture would have happened slowly over time. And you probably did have the kinds of individuals that you're referring to working in those spaces back in those days. And they would have stuck around for a period of time, and it takes a long time to shift the culture, to something that's a little bit more amenable. And at the end of the day, some of those discussions around, I don't know which articles you were looking at, Hoki, but I did do some digging, and from what I could tell, the articles that were particularly pertaining to that kind of behavior was sort of 2018 to 2020. That was when some of that
I think I saw 2020.
Yeah, that stuff was happening. So it has been some time since that occurred. And I guess, the difficulty is that I think a lot of workplaces in America in particular probably fall prey to that kind of institutional or systemic racism. I mean, or, sexual
It
harassment.
happens everywhere, man. Like, I've worked at places with people who would act along the same lines.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of those things like, yeah, you can go and you can let management or somebody know that this is happening, but more than likely you're not going to have a job.
Yeah.
And more than likely you're not going to have the evidence to prove that they did it,
Yeah.
Like, even if you do keep your job, you're just going to have a lot of pissed off people, to deal with and stuff like that on a daily basis. But it's honestly, I would say, I mean, I'm not going to hesitate to say it. I would say that I'm 100% sure that, like, every corporation in America has shit like that going on.
Yeah.
Well, and I wanted to ask you this, Uber. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty much in every country, but from what I'm understanding, like, these main offices must be located somewhere in Australia.
For Kick, I believe that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say, like, if you had to say how bad is racism in Australia overall? Any is it worse than the States? Would you where would you put it?
Look, it's an interesting question, and you
Yeah.
can potentially
I
ruffle
think
some feathers.
everywhere
But
has it to a
everywhere
point.
does
Like,
have racism.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
think that there's two different ways of looking at it, right? Because you've got essentially two different kinds of racism that exist. You've got interpersonal racism, which is essentially between two individuals. And then you've got systemic racism, which is essentially where systems of power or, organizational systems project either racist attitudes or oppressive attitudes or whatever you want to call it onto other people who exist below. And usually it's through socioeconomic means. But in the case of whether or not Australia has a particular attitude, they as a culture for quite a period of time did have some pretty xenophobic attitudes, and that essentially means that they were not particularly kind to immigrants. They had quite a period of difficulty with the Aboriginal people, as in the natives of Australia. Obviously, what they went through historically was pretty fucking horrific with eugenics and all kinds of things. So
I wonder what the age group of the people that were doing this stuff was like within the company.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. So, like, Kick, I would hazard a guess, probably is a relatively young workforce. These kinds of companies do tend to be that way. I mean, I work at a startup.
Yeah, like
I mean,
lower
Kick
20s
is not a
and stuff
startup,
like
but
that.
I mean, look, Steak Eddie is 28 years old, so
Yeah.
That'll give you
A
that'll give you
28-year-old billionaire.
yeah, that'll give you a
Yeah.
ballpark idea of the kind of age bracket you're looking at. And I mean, I work at a startup, a tech startup, and that's probably the average age would be no more than 35, if that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
so that's kind of prime too for people to kind of still be immature and stuff like that. I mean, they've showed it repeatedly, the immaturity of, some of the people that are higher up.
yeah. I mean,
Uh,
there's an element of that for sure. I guess I would counter that by saying that I would expect, or I would, I guess, hope that people of a younger age bracket would probably have less of the ingrained prejudices that people of older age brackets may have.
yeah.
So,
Well,
in
and all it
theory, it
takes is
should
a couple
offset.
there.
Say that
If you
again.
get a couple, man, if you get a couple of them
Yeah.
doing the negativity like that, man, it spreads like a wildfire. That's why you got to snip it in the ass as soon as it
Mm.
starts, man, so you can prevent it from doing that shit. But I mean, me personally, I would think that you're doing background checks extensively enough to where, like, you're gonna know who you're hiring, and you're gonna know what type of person that they are. But
It depends on the
I,
kind of
I
culture
don't know,
that you're
man.
trying to cultivate, though.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
Like, it has to start from the core of the business. Their fundamental
Right,
hiring practices have to be based upon trying to get the right kind of talent, and you can do that if
right.
you weed out if you have the kinds of questions and the kind of interview structure that weeds out the individuals who may not fit with your particular ideals. But
Yeah,
you know, it's an interesting one again because I think the other thing is that in Australia, obviously, the employment law is a lot more rigid than it is in the United States. In the United States, as you correctly point out, your boss could basically just say "fuck you" and that's it. You're done. You don't have a job.
yeah, yeah.
In Australia and New Zealand, that ain't happening. Essentially, if your employer was to do that to you, you could take them to court and you'd win. So the employer, by and large, has to adhere to quite a few legal standards to ensure that they're providing a healthy, non-toxic, and supportive workplace. And if you, as the employee, have evidence that they are not doing that, then you can take them to court. They cannot fire you at will. There's a long, drawn-out process that they have to go through to get rid of you, and they have to prove categorically that there's a legitimate and justifiable reason as to why they're terminating your employment. And the reason that I bring all of this up is that that means that employees of a business in Australia or New Zealand typically, I guess there's still the element of the power dynamic, and people do typically tend not to want to fight like a long drawn out legal battle to just prove a point. But they do have the support systems around them to enable them to do that if their fight is just, I guess. So with all of that being said, that means that somebody like Melissa is protected to some extent by being able to bring this information to light without having to fear direct reprisal from her employer or ex-employer, as she might have had to do if she was working in the United States, which may mean that's why you saw it coming out here rather than it coming out across the Pacific Ocean in the United States. And I guess the other side of the coin is that Kick, I think they are a multinational. They do have, businesses or offices in different countries as well. But I think primarily most of their business operations take place in Australia or the bulk of their business, should I say, headquarters and all the rest of it.
So do you think there's a reason why she quit and then released the stuff since she knew she would be protected? Or me
Well,
personally, if I was protected, I think I would have went ahead and did it. And then after the fact, if anybody does anything to you, I mean, you're pretty much untouchable once you release that stuff.
you are, but I mean, obviously, you're subject to a pretty toxic work environment if you were to do that whilst you were still employed. That doesn't stop people from being pieces of shit. It
Yeah,
legally,
yeah.
I mean, it legally obligates them to act within a certain bound, but they can still make your life hell in other ways.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing is that with her leaving the business, she had other, I guess, motivations to do so because she also wanted to. Well, no, she didn't want to, actually. This isn't really fair because from what I understand and from the conversations that were going back and forth and even from some of the emails, she had an arrangement with Kick regarding remote work originally that was suddenly changed, and the rug was pulled out from under her, and she had to go back into the office full time. But she also had a child, and that was sort of an untenable arrangement because she had to be able to pick up the child and look after the child at certain periods or certain times of the day or the week or whatever. I can't remember the time frame. And they didn't give her any notice that this particular agreement was changing, and she didn't have the capacity to reorganize her life to allow for that childcare whilst still having to be obligated to be at the office. So as a result of that, she decided that she was going to leave. Before all of this information came out, that was all it was. But then it started to fester because, from what I understand, there was a lot of shit going on behind closed doors, and there was circulating information about her in social media circles and other places that she decided that she was going to put right. So she released that original email chain that showed that she actually quit, and the date lines up. So she quit, whereas they were insisting that she was fired. And then subsequent to that, we had the further revelations. And I think it was probably the reason, like, she probably wasn't going to go out of her way to release this information, but I think she felt that she was getting bullied into a corner. And as a result, this is why she has said what she has said.
Yeah, and one thing, like, I keep saying that, you don't know who to believe. You'll never really know who to believe until they actually come out and somebody provides some sort of evidence one way or the other. But one thing to keep in mind, too, is that she's doing this knowing that it could affect her being able to find a future job, too.
That is correct.
I mean, it's got a lot of negative, a lot of negative things that could impact her.
Well, that's what I said,
so-
like there's no upside that I can see for her doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, unless she wants a job at like Twitch. I mean,
I don't know that this would get her a job at Twitch either, to be honest with you, but
Yeah.
yeah, because they might be like, wait a minute, we don't want our stuff getting out there. But
Yeah.
but that's the thing, though. Like, we don't know how much of this happens on any platform until they get called out on it. Once they get called out on it, and that's the thing, though. Like, you can't think negative about a platform until they do get called out on the shit. Once they get called out on it, then I mean, you're like, well, damn, that's fucked up.
Now, I will say, and let me preface this by saying a lot of these streamers came over from Twitch.
Yeah.
They used to do a lot of this same stuff on Twitch.
Some of them got banned multiple times.
Yeah, some of them got banned multiple times on Twitch. They have been banned multiple times on Kick also, but usually it's very short bans.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the behaviors of the top streamers, and another thing I want to say is Twitch is what, 15, 20 years old now?
Yeah, 15,
started out as
15
Justin
years old,
TV. Yeah. And they had similar growing pains. They've had crazy stuff happen on Twitch streams also.
Yep.
But now it's easier for the shit to get out. Like, it's more publicized than what it was back then when Twitch was first starting out.
Yes. And it's definitely not a good look for Kick, for sure. Like, for example, just take, like, over the last couple days, what has happened. Neon and I think his name is Jack Doherty were in a fight. They're caught in a fight, and I think Neon was calling him a pedo.
Yeah.
Action Man on Kick sat in Discord and had like a fight, I think, with Jack Doherty, calling him a pedo, and then sat there all night on Twitter. And I know this because I couldn't freaking sleep that night for some reason.
Yeah.
And Action Man kept posting videos on X saying,
Right.
"Get in here, Jack, you pedo." They're going as, I mean, and the stuff, the YouTube videos that are being generated about the stuff that some of the top streamers do. The worst part is they'll show them doing something like that, like you said. Remember that prostitute thing, Scott?
Yeah.
They show some other things where the guy was talking about pictures of his ex-girlfriend when she was underage and videos, sending them out to people. And then while this is happening, you'll see pop up on the screen, Trainwrecks donated $5,000 or Steak Eddie gave 1,000 subs.
And these are the people that are focused and giving money to, are the people who are doing stuff like that. And it doesn't look good for your platform at all.
So all the good things that Eddie does gets offset by that. And I don't even know if Eddie's particularly watching the stream. I mean, he's a 20-some-year-old billionaire that, you know, it's hard, you know, he's probably living his damn best life or whatever. He may just be, you know, popping in and going, hey, here's 100. You know, it's just some of the times it's been very bad timing on those. And of course, these people that make the videos, they ate it up. They stopped the screenshot right there.
Yeah.
Steak Eddie gives this, or Trainwrecks gives this. So, but the point being, and I don't understand the culture behind it. I don't find it. I'm never going to sit there and watch a freaking Neon stream,
No,
or a Jack Doherty stream. I
couldn't even tell you who the hell they are.
I can't. I don't understand the culture that brings so many people to them. Maybe I'm just, you know, too old to understand what's drawing these people in and viewing them and following them and subbing to them.
Those are the kids that would have ended up on milk cartons back in the day.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the way things are going with people pranking people and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
they're basically doing the F around and find out.
Yeah, basically.
You know, in America, people have been shot. They've been beaten. They've been, you know, all kinds of things because of the stupid things that they're doing on stream.
America is the last place on earth that you want to fuck around and find out.
Yeah, it's just, you just never know who might be carrying, or, you know,
especially where we live.
Yeah. And, you know, Virginia
in the deep red
down
states, yeah,
Virginia down, southern states. You don't. I mean, especially hell, Texas and Florida. I think they're both open carry.
Yeah, they
like,
are.
anybody could just be walking around with anything. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just honestly, that's insane to me. Like the fact that you could go to Texas and see people walking around with fucking military rifles, like. What,
dude?
Like, what world are we living in where that's necessary? Like, honestly, it's just a dick showing off contest at that point. It's got nothing to do with personal protection. It's like, mine's bigger than yours, so fuck off.
I just drive around in my fucking tank, man. Fuck it.
Yeah, we're just rolling around.
I'd have on the side of a spray.
I'm gonna bring a flamethrower. Like, then we'll see who's bigger.
Dude, there's a damn robotic dog with a flamethrower that they're selling.
Oh, God damn it.
Probably invented in the States.
Wait, where can I get that at? That would be good. I would never have to shovel snow again.
True. Practical uses.
But there are so many more videos coming out where these streamers are like, they're pushing content as far as they possibly can.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw that other guy on Kick, and this one kind of gets me because, you know, he's going after people. You know, he's going after pedophiles, right? But it's without it's without due process.
Correct.
You know, I don't know. You know, they're just trying to entrap people into things, right? Mm-hmm. But supposedly he feared for his life, and now he's under a lawsuit, so he's kind of like backing away from it right now.
Well, what the fuck did he expect?
The tally was the same.
Like,
I know.
At the end of the day, there's no such thing as vigilante justice. You're doing this purely and utterly for clout and content. It's not because you've got some kind of wholehearted desire to rid the world of child sex predators. Like, that's a ridiculous fucking notion. You're not going to solve anything by doing it on stream with a bunch of fucking degenerates watching you, hoping that you beat the shit out of some guy that they think might be potentially a pedophile.
They might want to go after a couple people that stream on Kick.
Yeah.
Hey, a
You
lot
know,
of times the people who are
Supposedly.
going after those people are the
yeah,
ones doing it.
allegedly. Yeah, I always say allegedly.
Yeah, and I mean, there was, like just a couple of days ago, it was the same deal with Dr. Disrespect, who's the Twitch streamer, right? He supposedly was messaging underage girls on their Whisper platform when it was a thing. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can't categorically make a statement about this stuff one way or the other until such time as it reaches a court. And the reason that we have a legal system is to ensure that we don't just lynch people for any fucking reason. There has to be a legal process to ensure that the individual is guilty and they are innocent until they are proven guilty, even if
You know
they
who
are
is
a
guilty?
degenerate piece of shit. It's irrelevant. They're
You
still
know who
protected
is
the
guilty?
same.
P Diddy.
You're Peter.
P Diddy's
Well,
guilty.
allegedly.
Penis Diddy is guilty.
Penis Diddy, yeah.
But so let's go back. We kind of got a little bit off track there talking about, but overall, Uber kind of explained to everybody kind of what stance you made and uh,
Yeah.
kind of your reasonings behind it a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, a lot of people probably in your stream already know my story when it comes to the cancer journey. But at the end of the day, I guess it is a twofold thing for me because on the one hand, it's a personal reason because I do think that, exploiting somebody in that position is a pretty terrible thing to do. But the other side of the coin is that I think that the incentives on Kick are somewhat perverse because of the way that the platform is designed as a loss leader. It doesn't necessarily have to be profitable and doesn't have to adhere to any standards so long as it's bringing people across to gamble. That's fundamentally the issue because they don't really give a shit what's there if it's pulling people across to use stake. And, I've said this before. I don't have an issue with gambling as, I don't think it should be illegal. I don't really, I'm a liberal in the sense that most things I think should be legal, so long as they're not hurting somebody else. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I think it's a net good for society. And gambling is fundamentally one of the most exploitative things that you can do to somebody else because you're designing a system whereby you're creating an addiction to the feeling of winning when you know that underneath all of that, you're taking 5% of everything that they put in. They might get 95% back, but slowly you whittle them down progressively over time until they lose everything. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. And at the end of the day, that's what they've designed is this online platform with stake. Now, getting people on to online gambling is a little bit of a complicated thing because there are a lot of laws regarding marketing gambling around the world where in a lot of countries it's illegal. Ironically, in New Zealand it's not, but in a lot of other countries it is. It's illegal to directly market gambling to individuals, and particularly in spaces where it could be marketed towards minors and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know about the United States, but yeah. So
Yeah, here it's actually illegal in Virginia to online gamble unless you're doing it through our Virginia lottery site.
Yeah, Virginia Lottery.
Yeah. You
Right.
can't do it on any other site, just the Virginia lottery site, which is essentially the same concept. Like they're going to take way more than what you get back.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lottery system here in New Zealand, but it's a non-profit, so essentially all of the money that it makes goes directly to charity. So that's a little bit of a different kettle of fish. I mean, we do have private casinos or a private casino, but yeah, the point of the matter is that Kick is essentially a mechanism for free marketing for stake, which bypasses all of the legal obligations that they have if they were to directly market their gambling products to people. Because they can just say, well, people want to play gambling games. It's the content on the website. It is what it is. We put up an 18 plus and, whatever it is. If people want to engage with it, they can. They don't have to. We're not directly promoting it. But the reality is that they are directly promoting it because pretty much every time you go to their main page, there's always a streamer who's playing slots and casino, and it's one of the biggest streamers that's on the platform. So this is inherently where the problem lies because they don't need to make Kick a profitable platform, and they don't necessarily need to even make it a sustainable platform. So long as enough people continue to engage with it, that it funnels money directly through to stake. It can be whatever the fuck they want it to be. It can be a degenerate hellscape for all they care, so long as people keep pulling the slot machine.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's all about getting them to keep doing it. And with how do they do it on this platform right here? They give the big streamers the money. They're not spending their own money to do this.
Yeah, correct.
Shit.
It's manipulative, extremely manipulative. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It does hurt people. It definitely hurts the people because these people, the regular everyday people, see these people winning and they're like, holy shit, man, like I can do that. That's an easy way to get money. Next
That's
thing you
right.
know, they're out like $100. They might not be able to pay their bills and shit like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, essentially it's their own fault, but it's putting that peer pressure on them, you know, like they're seeing these other people hit these jackpots, or they're seeing them hit like 1,000 or something like that. And it looks so easy.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're,
Like, let's
dude,
put it
if
this
I was
way.
given money to do it, I would do it.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, the reason that they are doing it is because they're paid to do it, and it makes for good content because people like watching the gambling streams because they want to see people win or they want to see people lose. That's the reality of it. And look, I think a lot of them don't, I would be surprised if a lot of them actually spent any of their own money on it. I would doubt that they do. If they do, then they probably don't spend a lot of what their relative income is.
It would depend on how hooked they are, right?
Well,
yeah.
I can tell you one thing. Trainwrecks, who is part of the I think he's a co-founder, one of the main people at Kick.
Yeah.
He used to put. Now I don't know if he still did it when he came over to Kick. I didn't see any of his streams, but I used to watch Trainwrecks play COD on Twitch. And when he did gamble on Twitch, he used to put up in the corner, "Do not gamble. You will lose money.
Yeah, right.
You will lose money. Do not gamble." He's like, "I'm gambling. Do not gamble." He used to say it in his stream all the time.
Yeah.
Now, and he's made it public about how many. I swear, I think Trainwrecks put out that he'd lost hundreds of millions of dollars gambling. I think I'd seen that somewhere. I have to totally, check that out again.
Yeah,
but I know that he had said that he'd lost a tremendous amount of money gambling.
Yeah.
So
I went ahead and told Smack just to let us know if he wants in.
Oh yeah. Farrell, absolutely. The bots coming in, the art bots promoting their stuff. Yeah, it's the weirdest stuff. And people, there's a major view botting issue on Kick. Also, there is
tabbing
an issue.
Yourself up and
tabbing yourself up, paying outside sources to bot you. These art bots that come in with these these paragraphs that as soon as they come into your stream, they just spam these paragraphs. Farrell. They have some major issues with that. I don't know if you guys have been. Well, I know Granny hasn't been streaming. I know that when you were on Kick there at the end, Uber, I don't know if you got it very often. And the very sad thing is, Uber was having some very good streams. He was, getting featured. You were having very good streams on Kick.
I was doing quite well towards the end there, yeah.
And then all this stuff came out.
Yeah.
We got old Smackberg in with us now.
It's me. Hello.
Hey,
what's up, fella?
Yeah, Farrell. It's that's something else we need to talk about also. It's kind of a very weird situation on Kick. I mean, basically, if do this sometimes, Farrell, go and look. Like last night was kind of I was chatting with Vice in Discord, and me and him just went and decided to take a look at different things. Destiny 2 had 7K people watching on Twitch and 200 watching on Kick.
Yeah.
And we kind of went through different categories. By far, you know, supposedly Kick put out numbers of viewers, views to the site, and they, I know Facebook Gaming's going through it. Facebook Gaming is in a bad place. But Kick was number 3.
Yeah.
So YouTube overtook Twitch, which kind of, that blew my mind a little bit.
Their live streaming platform is dog shit. YouTube's.
Yeah,
It's
that kind of
terrible.
blew my mind. So
Yeah.
YouTube and Twitch are up here, and then you got down here, you got Kick in third place. Now the thing with Kick is a new platform. There aren't truly a ton of just viewers on Kick. It's a lot of just streamers. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. But I mean, like, probably the best example was last night when I was streaming the Elden Ring DLC. When I finished, I just had a quick look on the sidebar to see who was live. And what I noticed was that Kai Cenat was live with 120,000 viewers.
Yeah.
So he, as a single streamer on Twitch, had more viewers than most of the entire categories on Kick.
Oh,
So
yeah.
The amount of people that come to Kick just to view, I think at this point is incredibly small. Incredibly small. Most of the people there are content creators who are either watching other content creators in their downtime or they're just tabbing them up to support them, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that, but that's just the unfortunate reality of it. So engaging with true viewers is a very difficult thing to do. Ironically, one of my long-time viewers, or one of the people that's been in my chat the most, is actually just a viewer. And he's probably the only one that I've ever actually come across. But he does consistently show up and support. But I'm yet to find many others that are just here to view and aren't streamers themselves.
Yeah, and I would say I'm approaching a year on Kick. I'd like Smackberg's opinion on this too. I'm approaching a year on Kick, Farrell. Now, luckily for me, I have my wife's support. Some of my cousins that don't stream. My Australian buddy Sini, a couple others that come in all the time. And few and far between. Have I got somebody to come in and talk? There's also a guy from Virginia, Blue Dog. There's a few others that aren't streamers, but few and far between do I catch somebody that does not stream. So a lot of Kick streaming is it's just it is what it is right now. It's streamers supporting streamers and hoping that you can get high enough in the thing to catch a real just viewer to come through. But they are, in my experience, they have been few and far between, for sure. Now, Smack, welcome in.
Hello.
Also, Smack, let me turn you up because I turned everybody down when all that stuff was happening. Let me make sure I got you good.
How's Smack's day going today?
It's been good. It's been a lazy day.
Heck yeah, lazy days are always good.
It's
I
hot
have,
outside too.
I have a little bit of a ghost hunt coming up tonight, so we'll see how that goes.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Same place. I'm going to see if I can catch any more names or any more type of evidence.
All right,
That'll
Smack.
be fun. What up?
All right. Farrell was asking, he said, sometimes it almost feels like, let me get his exact statement so I don't say it wrong.
Just
Hey,
by the way, Buckingham, does it feel good having Kick's dick down your throat?
He said that Steak Eddie came out and said something about it, acknowledged something about it.
Are you getting a troll in your Zuber?
Nah.
In your Twitch?
It's in Granny's.
I got Buckingham. He came from King Bush. He said that that Steak Eddie came out and did acknowledge it.
What did he acknowledge?
He didn't acknowledge
I don't know.
anything. No.
He said he basically came out and said it was all lies. I haven't got a chance to look at any of it.
I mean, like even the stream that Santa Maria did directly after all that drama, he didn't say anything. He said, it's not the Kick that I know, blah, blah, blah. He talked around in circles for about an hour and a half.
I hope that they address it tonight on the, the thing that Steak Eddie is having tonight. Just because I'd like to hear something. Now, where did Buckingham see this? Because I could pull up Steak Eddie's X and see if it was on there.
Buckingham, where did you see that Steak Eddie had basically came out public on it? I do not know Primetime. Who's Primetime?
Farrell basically said, plus also view botting. Like, I feel fake sometimes when I'm streaming because I get 11 or more viewers, but I only have 2 people talking in chat.
Oh yeah, you'll get that, man, especially early on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what? All right.
Okay, he put it on her one post, on the chick's one post, or
yeah, he commented on. He
of it?
replied back to Melissa, and then Melissa replied back to him. Basically, he said to her that, "Why didn't you bring this to me? My door's always open." Blah blah blah. And she said, "Well, you sat like 3 desks away from me, and you never spoke to me." That was her response back to him. So,
and no reply on that.
He didn't reply to that. No.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Smack.
But
now, what I was basically asking Smack was, you've been streaming on Kick for a year, right?
tomorrow, tomorrow's my year.
Oh, tomorrow. Great.
Oh, happy anniversary there, fella.
Thank you.
But yeah. How often would you say that it's not another streamer coming in? Like I said, I've got some people that I know and, are family and friends and stuff like that come in. But how often do you think you catch like a legit viewer that's not a streamer coming in and talking with you that would come back and stuff like that?
See, it's hard too. I like just straight viewer like that has never streamed before. I would say I probably maybe have had like a handful of people through my whole year. Now, people that were streaming that don't stream anymore that keep coming back in, that's probably greater. So
like Booty,
you got Toad, just like off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, people like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think now there are some people like that I see too that used to stream and don't stream anymore. But I also of course Vice. Yes, Vice. Vice.
Oh yeah, Vice. We can't forget Vice.
Of course, Vice.
I don't think I've ever seen a Vice stream. Never seen a stream.
Vice. I just kind of. I know Vice. I just consider you like part of our streams at this point. Like you're just ingrained in, man. But yeah, it's like I don't know. I do agree. I see where Farrell's coming from. That a lot of times you do feel like that. Although I will say, And of course, we just talked about Uber. I don't know if we got all the way through it. Uber switching over to Twitch and X and leaving Kick because of the things that were done to the Twitch streamer, allegedly done to her over, her having cancer. But I want to say, Kick has massive problems. Twitch has had them too. Twitch may still be having him. I don't know. Maybe they got it. I have heard that this new person they got leading Twitch people seem to like this guy.
Yeah, I've never heard of this. My bad. Thought I was muted.
But I will say, Kick has been good for me because, I had that, moment in time where I almost, because I didn't take care of myself, almost died. And from working in a hospital and seeing all the things I did, I kind of withdrew from everybody. So Kick has been good for meeting people, finding some people that are very supportive and people that I would call my friends that I never would have met before. So that's been a really good thing about Kick. And Kick has been my only home. I streamed 2 times on Twitch. Kick has been my only home for this whole time. So, in that regard, Kick has been a very good thing as far as my, just overall in my life, it's been a good thing. So I hate seeing this stuff. And
it's kind of like watching a cousin that you knew when you were little turn into like a crack hoe and a prostitute.
I just
like
knew that was going to come out of your mouth. Like I was like, he's going to say something fucking majorly out of pocket.
It's kind of like that, I mean, Hokey can relate. He can relate. But
yeah.
You guys, but when you say cousin, you both have the same cousin. So I mean, like,
yeah. It's something we can definitely relate to because it happens. Hopefully not to you guys, but it has happened to us. She's a very special lady. But yeah, so it's rough for me. And I've been seeing more and more. I've been seeing people say they're leaving Kick and stuff like that. Now, it got me to start to think a little bit though, and I may end up doing this pretty soon. And they actually encourage it on Kick anyway. But somebody put out there, why would you put your eggs in one basket? Why put your faith in a platform that may not be there for you when you need them, or may shut down at some point. You never know. Like, for example, Kick could go on and end up being like one of the leaders in the industry. It could. Things could change. It could go on. Or Steak Eddie one day could just be like, this is too much of a pain in the ass. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm a billionaire. Why do I need this? And it could just all of a sudden be, gone in an instant. I would guess from the way that they've talked, that it's probably going to go on for a while. I don't know about long term, but I just wanted to put that out there, that despite the negatives that are up there in the top streamers, some of the stuff that's out there, we've kind of talked about this before. Uber, there's been a lot of good that's come out of being on Kick for me.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, your story is quite similar to my own, really. I mean, I never streamed in my life up until I went through the cancer journey. And the only reason I did it was because I was stuck at home feeling really sorry for myself because I was on chemo for 12 months. I didn't have a lot of energy to do anything else, but I wanted some kind of social outlet, so I decided to give streaming a try. And that was at the time when Kick had only just really come out. So, I sort of came in at the ground floor, I guess, like you did. And as a result, had like some pretty immediate success, which felt really good. And I was able to do those charity streams and raise some money and feel like I was giving back and actually contributing something and being productive at a time when I didn't feel like I could do much else. So, I am thankful for that opportunity, and I don't dismiss it at all, even irrespective of the opinions that I've shared in this conversation. But the reality is that all of that is for naught if fundamentally the company doesn't actually give a shit about any of the people on this platform so far as they can utilize them to make a profit on their gambling website. And that to me just negates all of the relative good that they're doing, supposedly. And I guess I'm not adverse to coming back to Kick. Like in the statement, if you want to call it that I made, essentially my point is that I just want them to take ownership of it. I just want them to acknowledge the fact that there are fundamental issues and that they need to take a mature approach and start to make some changes to encourage positive and constructive and healthy long-term behavior on this platform. Even if they want to continue using it as a way of funneling people to gambling, that's fine. It is what it is. I understand that that's their business practice, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't place an importance on ensuring that the kinds of people that they have representing their brand and the kind of content that they're promoting is positive and healthy for people to engage with. Not the kind of shit where you're driving 120 miles down the interstate, potentially ending up in a car crash, going and flipping tables as a 14-year-old, seeing whether or not someone's going to pull a gun on you, or chasing down pedophiles without any legal remit to do so.
And the really sad part is that for some reason that content brings in viewers.
Yes, it
and
does.
It brings in subs and it brings in revenue. And I'm just like, I can't wrap my head around that.
You got to look at our media, man. What brings in the views? It's not people doing good shit. It's all the crazy shit in the world that brings in the views. Like, that's what people get drawn to.
It is. But I mean, I think when you're talking about the kinds of behavior that you're seeing on streams these days, it's not all streams by any stretch of the imagination, but the ones that are really in your face, they are attracting younger audiences. That's just the reality of it. It's probably 13 to 16-year-olds who watch it and think it's hilarious because they're not old enough and they're not old enough and mature enough to understand the consequences of that behavior. It's just a meme, and as far as they're concerned, it's just something that's happening on a screen, and therefore, it's out of touch with reality. There's no consequences for that action. And that's just kids. That there's nothing inherently wrong with that. They just don't get it. But unfortunately, it's a self-perpetuating cycle because the more kids that watch it, the bigger they get, the larger they grow, and then adults start to follow on because it's a clout-chasing mechanism, and then they start giving money and so on and so forth. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy at a certain point, but that's realistically the reason why it's popular content, because the vast majority of internet users are probably kids. Or young adults.
Buckingham said he agrees they need to ban some of these streams that are bad for the platform.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. And a lot of these people that they brought over there that have been banned multiple times on.
Yo, Mediated Stone. Thank you for the follow, man. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Hope you're doing well, dude. Hope you're having an awesome day.
And then they came back, banned and came back. But yeah, I mean, honestly, these guys might end up effing around and finding out. Because if they, hey, Spike, hey, because now it's becoming, they're pushing the limits so far that, they're going to get hurt or killed. I mean, that's just,
No, we had a guy, was he a TikToker? The one that got shot?
One that got shot, yeah.
Yeah.
And
he fucked around and found out.
Was that Jack Doherty I can't remember if that's who it was, went up to that guy that's kind of a built guy, and he grabbed his hat off his head.
Oh, the
Yeah.
gym. Yeah, and he slapped the shit out of him. Yeah.
Yeah, and he slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know Smack, you know, Smack watches a lot of this stuff, the same stuff that I look at on Twitter, and he Smack sees the same thing. Me and Smack have had conversations about a lot of this, and
It's true.
what's your thoughts on the whole situation?
I mean, all around, no matter what, it's just dumb. Like
Exactly.
people going out and like hurting or messing with people, just to me, it's so stupid. Because then, yeah, like what you guys are saying, like something's going to happen no matter what. And then the other problem too is that people are supporting them because they want to see it happen. They're not in there because they're like, "Oh, we love you." They want it.
I think
to
you're
happen.
right.
Yeah,
I think it's like somebody sitting there waiting for a train wreck
Mhm.
or a car wreck to happen.
It's the next clip that they can post on YouTube or
It is.
TikTok so that they can get famous off of it.
Yep, and it's the next clip too that other people can take and go share it all over Twitter and get crap off of it as well.
Mm.
So I just think it's
Smackbird,
dumb all around. But
what got you into streaming? What made you just decide you were gonna stream?
I've tried to do it for so long. Mental health really kept me from it, and I think just the progress I've made with like the mental health, finally for myself, I was like, I'm going to do something that's hard, push myself, like get over my how do I say it? I wanted to be uncomfortable to
Yeah.
grow more. So
Yeah, kind of
one day
face your fears.
it's like my camera thing. I never have my camera on, but I'll put it on with you guys because I feel comfortable.
Yeah,
But it still helps me grow. So
Yes.
So
as a
it
person,
helps.
not
It
on
helps.
the
It
platform.
helps me grow too when you got your camera on.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you and Uber going on right
That's
now.
why you're
Holy crap.
adjusting.
I'm not standing up for a little while, I'll tell you that.
That reminds me of my dream I had last night.
Oh, my. Let's go. Man, all the dreams I have about you guys.
But
You see that little rocket beside your name, Smackbird?
Ugh.
Yeah.
You taking off right now?
His little rocket that could.
yes, CD, your stepson is back and streaming today. Yes, he is.
Hey, tell my stepson hello.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing that sucks the most is, like I said, Smack, and you probably feel the same way. I know you did restreaming a couple times,
Mhm.
but for me, I mean, all of us really. Uber didn't really multi-stream till recently. I don't think.
No.
Kick was kind of our home. Kick was our place where, of course, right now it doesn't have a lot of real viewers. We'll see what the future holds with that. But, we've met a lot of good people on here, people that I would have never known. It sucks that, they're having so much going on, internally, and well, it's not even internal anymore. It's become, it's everywhere. It's being posted everywhere about the top streamers on Kick, things going on at at the offices. It sucks because I want it, oh great. I want it to grow. I want it to be a better place. I'm going, it's there's been so much good that came out of it for me. I don't want a bunch of assholes to ruin it.
Yeah,
That's
100%. Yeah.
that, I don't want these. I swear, man, it would be hard for me in real life to be around these people and not do exactly what that guy did and just smack them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to turn to violence, but sometimes like sometimes violence might be necessary.
I mean, honestly, I think that kid taking the hat off the dude at the gym is probably the quintessential example of this like shitty behavior,
Yeah.
because that smarmy
dumb.
fucking look he had on his face when he did it was just begging to be decked. He's messing with a guy 5 times his size and thinks that he can get away with it without any consequences. It's so irritating. It's just so annoying. It goes against every fiber of your being. Like,
Wait, how old is this guy?
The one guy's got to be young 20s, and the other guy was probably like 30.
bro, he looked like he was 14, like 20s,
I mean,
really.
the guy that was doing the snatching the hat off.
I mean, he's very young. He might be 18 to 20.
So that explains it. He'll come across the wrong person that'll lay his ass out, and hopefully the dude doesn't lose his life doing it. But it's just ignorance. I mean, people are just stupid these days.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why people. I mean, it's gotta be something along the lines of what Smack said, where people are just waiting for something like that to happen. Like that.
Yeah.
I would be.
I mean, you're 100% right, Smack, because the only reason that content ends up, getting the airtime that it does is because of the fact that shit got clipped and it did the rounds on social media. Like, if people wouldn't have known anything about it if it just stayed in the stream, but it's because people see it being promoted, then they go and check out the stream to see what's going to happen next. What's the next greatest installment? And fuckwit fucks around and finds out. So that's the unfortunate reality of it. And I think a lot of the time these guys don't really care what the consequence is, because they know in this business, particularly, any publicity is good publicity. So they're just hoping that it's going to get, blown out of proportion.
Yep, that's why they do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and toxic people, man, will follow that shit in a heartbeat. Yeah, I mean, you look at like Ice Poseidon's fucking people that he has and shit like that, his followers, toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't understand. I don't understand. Is there really that many people out there in the world?
I think
maybe. I mean, if they are there. So.
I mean, those people are, they're doing considerably better than me, by acting like that. Like,
if that's what it takes to have fucking money, then fuck money.
I know. I wouldn't. Oh my God, man! Some of these videos that are coming out, like these people are, they're in subway cars in Japan, right? Screaming at the guys beside of them, going Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Wow.
It's just so
just doing anything they can to try to get somebody to react, and the guy beside him was just like,
they aren't even.
Well, I mean, like Japan is a culture.
First.
Yeah, like Japan is a culture where they keep to themselves, generally speaking. So that
now I have seen where a couple of them ran into Yakuza members.
Well,
and
yeah,
that ended real quick. They were like, "We're getting the hell out of here."
I'm so scared.
Yeah. The Yakuza guy came up and said something to him like, shut the hell up. I'm from Yakuza, and then the guy was like, "I'm out."
The Yakuza don't fuck around, dude.
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't mess around.
What kind of normal people do that shit, though?
Yeah, Adam. There's a lot of dummies at the top for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, first off, I think they have to be like morally bankrupt to do stuff like that. But also, they figured out that they're getting subs, they're getting views. Their recognition from doing these stupid things.
But I think some of it is protagonist syndrome, where people tend to think that they are the main character of the world, and they're completely and utterly unable to recognize the fact that the rest of the world functions with no cognizant realization that these particular individuals exist. And then they unfortunately extrapolate that to mean that there's going to be no direct consequences for their behavior. They're going to win no matter what happens. They're always going to come out on top until such time as they don't. But unless that occurs, they continue to live in this little dream world that they fabricated for themselves, and continue to function in that deplorable manner where they affect everybody around them. But of course, the difficulty is that the consequences that they may end up facing, particularly if they're going to go around engaging in that kind of behavior, could be fatal, or if not fatal, severely injurious or detrimental to their overall health and well-being.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of a catch-22, because they'll continue to do it until such time as they encounter consequences for their actions. But when they do encounter consequences for their actions, it could be pretty severe.
Yes.
Do they not teach that in school anymore? For every action, there is a equal and opposite reaction.
It's basic physics, yeah. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's probably a bit of a generational issue, because we live in a world that is permeated with social media, and essentially that has become the new reality. It's substituted the real world for what is on the internet, and we tend to think, or the youth in particular tend to think, that that's the way that the world actually functions. They're under some kind of collective spell that lets them think that the world is a video game, and you can go around acting like you're a GTA character, and you're just going to respawn if you get shot, or bribe the police and you get out of jail for free. And I know that's a dumb analogy, but that's kind of the way that it actually works, because that's the way that they view this. I mean, that's the only reason that you could reasonably expect them to act like that and think that nothing's going to happen, is because they just don't believe that there will be any consequences for that poor behavior.
It's like they're the main character, everyone else is just an NPC.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that sometimes, but I don't go out fucking with people.
I mean, we all do, though.
But
Realistically, to a certain extent, we all function within that little, that nice little illusion that we are the main character. That's the way that our brain is wired. It's biologically enabled to do that, so that we can fight for our own survival. Biologically, we only care about ourselves and our direct family, because that's what matters to us. The broader context is kind of irrelevant so far as survival goes, but obviously we live in a different kind of world now than we did when we were hunter-gatherers, so we effectively have to exist within a society, and that means that society needs to function and thrive in order for us to thrive. But internally, we don't function that way, so we have to take ourselves out of what our primal drivers are. But that's difficult for a lot of people to do. I mean, I don't really know what the answer to this problem is, but I think one of the most important things is probably going to be a shift in the way that we view our children interacting with social media and technology. I think that that's going to have to fundamentally change in order to avert a significant negative shift in society overall.
Hey, in 5 years, AI is going to take us over anyways.
It might. But so, all right. What do you guys think needs to? Okay, for you to come back, Uber. None of the rest of us have left yet. I plan on giving. I want to see what comes out of this, and I want to see if Kick can, make some changes and make things. I'm hoping that the thing tonight with Steak Eddie. I hope he comes out and talks about it and talks about some of the things. There are some other things as far as streamer growth and stuff like that they've been talking about for a long time implementing. API, kicks, stuff like that. I would like to see what they say about that also. I'll ask Mike and Granny their thoughts, but Uber, what would it take for you? Every business has their problems.
Yeah,
every
no doubt.
platform has its problems,
Yeah.
but I listen, guys. This is not a total bash Kick thing, because Twitch has it, YouTube has it, places have their own problems. But what would it take for you, Uber? Because, like I said, and let me say this: Uber was like on the damn, yes, Cine, Activision has it. Uber, Cine hates Activision, by the way, now. Uber you were on a rise, man, on Kick. Like they were featuring you were having those streams. Although I couldn't even, it was hard for me to watch you getting your hair ripped off your chest. But you were having,
watch that clip, by the way.
oh my God, man. I went in there, I went back to his page just to see, her starting to rip. And I was like, I'm not even gonna say anything.
I need to get Uber's permission to make a damn emote of that, baby.
Go for gold, mate.
And I felt kind of bad because I saw where Uber was having this, and Uber's been very kind to me. So I went in and gifted Uber a sub, and then he started dying in game, and then other people started gifting him subs, and then all of a sudden it just rolled into this. Next thing I come back, Uber's getting, his chest hair ripped off, and I'm just like, oh God. But what would it take for you personally? I know the cancer thing really got to you because you went through it, but what would it take personally for you from Kick and Kick staff for you to decide to want to come back?
Yeah. Look, I mean, honestly, it really wouldn't take that much. I just want them to acknowledge the fact that there are some things that are fundamentally going wrong at Kick, and then there needs to be some significant cultural change to make sure that that doesn't continue to spiral into the void of fucking degeneracy that it's looking like it's heading towards. Irrespective of whether or not this particular conversation happened, I think that the kinds of content creators that they promote and continue to promote shows to me that they have a culture of not really giving a shit about the human cost of the content that they're producing and the people that they're exploiting to bring across to their gambling platform. So what I want, or what I hope that they will do, is acknowledge the fact that that is not a sustainable practice, and that they will take a more empathetic approach to the way that they conduct their business and ensure that people are protected and looked after on their platform, and that they do not encourage the kind of behavior that's going to result in injury or death of the individuals involved. And that they continue to
treat it like a legit business.
More or less, treat it like a legitimate business.
Successful business.
But take ownership of the mistakes that have been made thus far. Yeah. Don't just push it under the rug and pretend like it's not a problem, because we can all see it. We're not fucking idiots. You can see the forest for the trees. At the end of the day, there are fundamental issues here. If they acknowledge that wholeheartedly and make constructive steps to change that trajectory, then that would be enough for me to change my mind. Not that, obviously, like I'm not having protagonist syndrome here. I know they don't give a fuck about what I have to say. I am a nobody when it comes to content creation. But when you're just asking me the question straight up, that's how I feel about it.
Hey, we're all a somebody, and I'll tell you why. Because if enough of us nobodies stick together and just leave, what do they have?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and that's why it's important that they not pay attention to what the big streamers are saying or what the big streamers are wanting, but it's all about your small streamers when it boils right down to it.
Yep.
Because the small streamers are what's making your platform. It's not these big ass streamers. Yes, the big streamers might be getting your subs and shit like that, but these small streamers, the ones that are working their ass off all the time, they go to another platform. Who do you have as viewers on your platform then?
This is something actually interesting that I want to ask you guys. I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of the top performers on Kick have huge numbers of gifted subs from 3 or 4 of the exact same people. How does that work, and why is that the way that it is? Because that suggests to me that it's not genuine, appreciation for that particular individual's content. Rather, it's artificial hyping of those people for marketing purposes.
Could be. Right. Now, if they were female, now I would say that they're in the streaming, and me and some people have went through, and we went to different female pages and stuff like that, and look, it seems like there are each female streamer.
You having fun there, Granny?
Each female streamer seems to have at least one or two main. I mean, I almost want to
main simps.
I almost want to simps. Like that give an enormous amount of subs compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
There seems to be, mine right now is Liberty. Because I guess she's simping for me.
Liberty's simping for you. Yeah,
she likes to have people have the sub badges every now and then, so she'll come in and it's great. Whatever. I asked Smike one day. I was like, "Is that lame?" And Smike was like, "Nah, it's not lame. She supports you. Whatever." But yeah, I think yeah, that's true, Cini. You have never gifted a sub to Amaranth. That's true.
How do we know?
He could have done it under a different name. He could have made it like a completely different. Like let's have a look at the top gifter. Maybe that's Cini. Maybe that's just Cini under another name.
Yeah, maybe it's another name.
What irritates me though? A lot of these streamers that are the problem streamers, Kick staff is the ones that are up there on their leaderboards on donating and stuff.
Yeah, and there's been those YouTube videos where they catch them, they pause it at the exact same time when Steak Eddie rolls in there and gives 100 or train wrecks or whatever. But yeah, it is a little weird. But now there are just some people, for example, I'll give you these examples. I've watched a lot of Nick Merckx and I've watched a lot of Tim the Tap Man. They'll be sitting there talking at the beginning of stream, and people will just give enormous amounts of money to them.
Yeah.
Just within the first 30 minutes of them going live. And I'm just like, so, I mean, there are people out there. I don't know where they're from. I don't know if they are like the sons of Saudi Arabian oil, barons or, I don't know where these people are coming from. But regardless, I see what you're saying though, Uber. I see. Now, we have went through some pages of people that we know, and there seems to be one or two dudes that are in female streams that give enormously more to them. Yeah. Now the guys, I don't know exactly how that works. Maybe there are female simps out there.
I think with the men, it's parasocial relationships with all genders, to be honest. But the incentives are a little bit different with the females. But with the dudes, I think it's just they want, to be noticed. They want the friendship of somebody who they admire. And they think that dropping a whole bunch of money on them is actually going to create that relationship or enable them to have that relationship with that individual, which of course is not the reality of it. The only way that that's going to work is if you have a genuine connection with the person. But when you're a big streamer of that size and you've got 20,000 people in your chat and it's just like literally scrolling text credits, then you're not going to be able to have any kind of interaction with that person whatsoever. It's just not going to happen.
Oh yeah, you can't read the chat.
No,
you can't. It's impossible.
If you wanted to have a relationship with somebody or build a friendship, then really the only way you're going to do that is to go into a smaller stream. But I mean, the thing is that the people who are at the top have huge personalities a lot of the time, and as a result, I don't find it particularly engaging. I find it disingenuous. I kind of struggle I think it's a bit cringe, but a lot of people don't, so that's fine. Whatever. You can pick your favorite flavor of ice cream. It doesn't bother me, but a lot of people really engage and vibe with those kinds of dudes that are like just screaming nonstop all the time, like it's the fucking Super Bowl, and they just like get really hyped up by that.
I've watched a couple streamers on this platform grow into pretty good sized streamers. I mean, compared to us, they're pretty good sized streamers. They lost their shit, man. Like they completely lost it, and now nobody supports them. And it's like, stay your fucking self. I don't care how big you fucking grow. Stay your fucking self.
Yeah, 100%. You
Yeah,
got yourself a legendary wife there, Hokey.
comment like button. What's that?
You got yourself a legendary wife there, Hokey.
Thank you. I think you guys do as well. Now, Smack.
Yes.
I'll be back in 2
all right.
seconds, guys. Give me a minute.
More people, Uber. We just keep populating.
Adam said to give him a couple minutes, but I don't think he's muted.
He's not muted.
TikTok is live viewers. Okay. TikTok is live viewers. Okay. Hey, that's my voice. I hear myself.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Adam.
It's the loop of doom. We're going to echo into eternity.
There he goes. He muted.
All right. Let me turn Adam up a little bit. Adam's gone.
We'll have to pull him back when
We'll invite him back in a minute.
He said give him a couple minutes, so.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was getting Smack's thoughts on the whole thing there anyway, so that's good.
Yeah, because I would say Twitch or YouTube would probably be
Turn Adam up
my next go.
Oh, YouTube, I'll be a
Adam's gone.
goner, man.
Yeah.
Pretty quick when he.
We'll invite him
when he
back.
gets
They
back.
demonetize.
He
They
said
don't
give him a
really
couple
ban
minutes,
so
so.
quick. They just demonetize. Well, anyway, I was
Yeah,
getting
with our
Smack's
political
thoughts on the whole
podcasts
thing
and
there
stuff,
anyway,
that wouldn't
so
last
that's
very long.
yeah, that and maybe some of the
Well-
degenerate cursing, especially freaking Pickle,
Oh, yeah.
and his talk about anuses.
Yeah, well,
that
look,
might
I mean,
that might get me demonetized.
I've got a pretty fucking sordid sense of humor too. So I mean, like at the end of the day, I'm well aware that I could get myself in trouble pretty quickly. But I don't actually think, because I was watching a few Twitch streams, particularly some of the larger content creators, and even Kai Cenat, who I watched the other night with his 120,000 viewers. he was saying all kinds of shit.
Kai is killing it, man.
Yeah, he's killing
insane.
it. Yeah. So I mean, he was saying all kinds of shit, and Twitch doesn't really seem to get. I don't think that they really give a shit about swearing or like, you know, I guess spicy sexual jokes. But when it comes down to, I guess, bigotry, for lack of a better word, you're probably going to get yourself banned pretty quickly if you're going to behave like that. Which, honestly, personally, I don't really have an issue with. Like, freedom of speech is fine. Like, in the public square, if you want to go out and yell on the sidewalk all kinds of obscenities about particular minorities or sexual proclivities or whatever, then that's fine. You can do what you want. But at the end of the day, the platform is an independent entity. It can choose what it will and won't sanction on its platform. So if they don't want you to say that kind of shit on their platform, then they have a right to tell you to fuck off. That's also freedom of speech. There's a consequence for that action.
Right. And I don't see why people get so mad about that. Like, you can have freedom of speech, in my opinion, you should. But you can also get people that also have freedom of speech to come back at you.
Yeah, there's a consequence, right? Like, if they don't like what you say, then they're equally allowed to tell you that you're a fucking idiot and that everything that you're saying makes you a bigoted piece of shit. They're allowed to have that opinion just as you're allowed to say that's incorrect. I mean, it is what it is.
I would say top of the free speech meter in streaming is probably Kick and Twitter. But that also brings certain problems with it. Also, and then I would say it probably goes Twitch, and then YouTube and TikTok are very they are very
they can't be worse than Facebook.
Well, I would actually I would actually kind of disagree a little bit, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
There's a couple of reasons. The first is that I think YouTube is probably the best example of free speech, and the reason is because whilst they will demonetize you for saying things that they don't like, they don't take your content. They don't take your content down. It's still there, and it may not get promoted in the algorithm, but it's still there. So they are actually striking the best balance between allowing freedom of speech, but also maintaining a profitable and manageable business model than any other platform. Twitter.
That's probably why they're on top.
Correct. Twitter, or X, is a little bit of a different kettle of fish. I think I'm not a believer in Elon Musk's so-called freedom of speech advocacy, the king of allowing anybody to say anything, because he is blatantly been hypocritical on that position multiple times, particularly when it comes to stuff about himself, because he's an egomaniacal fucking idiot. But the other side of that coin is that the kind of content that's now finding a home on Twitter is pretty insane. You can go down some serious rabbit holes on Twitter nowadays that are unbelievable, the kind of shit that people believe. And like that's
TikTok too.
Well, yeah, I mean, TikTok's probably on the other side of the political spectrum, but they're both sort of bad on both ends, really. But I'm not necessarily saying that the content shouldn't be there. If they allow it and they want that freedom of speech, then that's fine. But I think because of the kind of partisan world that we live in these days, people are falling hook, line, and sinker for all kinds of weird and wacky shit that happens to fit into their preconceived bias. I mean, you can go on Twitter now and you can find full-on massive threads with hundreds of thousands of people engaging in them that's just like Holocaust denial or like the Nazis were actually right. And it's crazy. It's crazy to me that this is the kind of discourse and dialogue that we're now faced with these days. We have to argue with people about whether or not Hitler was good. Like, what the fuck?
I've had that argument before on a podcast. I've had that argument before on a podcast.
Like, you can have that opinion, you know. Like, if you want to believe that, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you that you can't, but I will say this. I think that is just abhorrent and categorically wrong, and it's historically ignorant to believe that that's the case. And my question is not so much why people believe it, but how they get to the point where they do believe it. How exactly are we in a position nowadays where that kind of information is so prevalent and so popular that we're actually starting to literally just be, you know, do a 180 and completely ignore the last 100 years of human history?
Right.
Yep. I've had that argument on podcasts. They would never be able to convince me that Hitler was a good guy.
And you'll never be able to convince them that he wasn't.
If they believe Hitler was a good guy, they got burned. I'm sorry, but
Wait, Hitler was a bad guy? What? What kind of crap are you guys talking about?
What's up, Adam?
How are you guys doing?
Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Have you been watching any of this?
I've all of a sudden made myself.
Okay.
I've all of a sudden made myself too big.
I say that all the time.
I've been. Oh, there we go. I'm back. I've been in and out throughout the evening.
Now, have you been seeing any of it on social media? Have you seen any videos of the stuff that's been going on?
So are you talking about with Kick with Eddie?
Yeah, the Kick stuff. Yeah.
I saw the girl posted a video and I watched like 30 seconds of it and then started reading the comments, and then I got busy at work and never had a chance to go back to it.
Okay. Yeah, I did actually watch that whole video.
Okay. Hey, all right, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna hit this go live button.
Let me get you pulled up here.
All right, I appreciate it. Alrighty.
But yeah, I just I'll start. Since you're in here whenever you're ready, Adam. Kind of.
Oh, hey, I just got a follow. Look at that.
Hey, that's
Buckingham. Thank you for the follow. 534. I could have sworn I was up to 535. I must have lost a few. I'm gonna have to take a look.
Oh, yeah, they'll come and go.
Why am I? Okay, there we go. That's weird. I have to figure out how you guys set this up because mine's acting funny.
I've gained
mine right
4 or 5 followers in the past couple of days, and I'm still right back where I was.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that either. It seemed like there was a time when it was so much easier to get follows, and now like it'll go up and it'll go a little bit down.
Yeah,
it'll go up. I
wonder if Kick's taking out bot accounts now.
Yeah, there was probably a few along the way, for sure.
I just went insane. Uber, hey man, I appreciate the follow. Mediate Stone, thank you for the follow.
Yeah, Uber is here with us. Meditative Stone is from Spike.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Spike's cousin. Yeah.
I'm surprised I wasn't following you before.
Thank you. I thought you were.
Yeah, I thought I was too, but apparently not.
and that happens on Kick sometimes.
You may have been, yeah.
It happens on all the platforms. It happens on.
I've had to refollow like a ton of people.
Yeah.
I was gonna jump on earlier, but I was really thoroughly enjoying Uber's point that he was making about the bullshit. and how all of a sudden I have to have this conversation that dude's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
What's up, Josh? How you doing?
So, Adam, what got you into streaming?
What got me into streaming? There was 2 streamers on Facebook. It was Super Retro Game Time. Josh, Big Mac knows who I'm talking about, and Kingslayer. Those were the 2 streamers that I started following. I always thought like the whole watching people play video games was kind of stupid. Turns out I actually do it all the time now, and I love it.
Yeah.
But so it was them, and I was just watching them, and I was like, you know what? Why not? I bought I had a laptop. I streamed on there. It was just to meet new people, and then it was the end of 2019, right around then, and then all through COVID. And then I stopped about 2001, and then Kick came around, so I said, hey, why not? And here I am.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of people probably got into it over COVID, right?
I wish I would have.
Yeah, I wish I would have been there through the COVID because that was
We're-
like a boom time for Steam.
Me and
Oh
Hoopy are
my
waiting on.
god!
We're waiting on the bird flu pandemic.
Yeah, the bird flu is going to bring streaming back.
And you know, and you know,
Is it bad to root for bird flu?
I know,
Bird
right?
flu.
Like everybody's at home, everybody had extra money. I made a killing on Facebook on just stars alone.
Yeah, right.
Shit.
Like it was wild how much money I made on stars alone.
Now, see, I wouldn't think that somebody like you would have to worry about getting banned on Facebook. What about somebody like me?
No,
They wouldn't take in consideration I've been banned 42 other times for just posts that I've made.
you've been banned on here.
No, on
No,
Facebook.
Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, that's people reporting you. It's a completely different. Like, I don't think you would get banned.
I got banned one time for a post I made 7 years before. Like it showed the date of the post and it was 7 years before I got fucking banned. I'm like, damn, man.
That's funny.
Somebody
That's
must have
funny.
gone back and reported the post. That's the only way that would have happened.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Man, somebody
Man,
went through and just scrolled
Yeah, like-
through.
You know what?
They
Fuck
were like,
this
we
guy
gotta
in
get this
particular.
guy.
Yeah, that's wild. That's crazy.
42.
Like, I mean, I would get kicked off of Facebook real fast for like copyright infringements now. Actually, that's what happened. God, why do I keep doing this? That's part of the reason why I stopped streaming on Facebook or completely, because when I came back, I co-streamed on Facebook for a while. And then I just stopped because you were allowed to listen to music here, and on Facebook it was like an instant kill on your stream.
Yeah.
See, and I wonder about that because Twitch went through this whole, like, it was like a DMCA wasteland. Like, if you even played a snippet of music on your stream, you got DMCA'd, and they might ban your stream for a day or a week or something like that.
TikTok will do that too.
Now,
They'll remove the music.
Yeah. So I kind of wonder if, well, for one thing, I know from a business perspective, I'm sure, and they've talked about this before, that Eddie wants ads to come to Kick. If he wants ad people to come to Kick, they're probably going to have to strictly enforce terms of service, get rid of some of these people, because a lot of advertisers, like, you go on Twitch, and I have to say it does suck sometimes, especially when streamers, and I don't blame them, these middle of the road streamers, small streamers that are trying to make some kind of money off Twitch, will put on there to have 7 ads every 30 minutes or sometimes more, right? And then you get ads like from everywhere, ads that you don't think would ever apply to a person watching this gamer's stream. But there's like high fashion ads, different things like that. But I think, what's y'all's side? I think Kick would have to enforce TOS a lot more strongly across the board, and they would probably have to, try to chill some of the things going on with their bigger streamers.
Kick with ads is Twitch 2.0. It's going to have to be. Because, the only way that they're going to be able to get the support from the advertisers is they're going to have to get a lot stricter than what they are right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why you've seen Twitch put out some of the bans, the lifetime bans that they put out, was because of advertisers.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
and
essentially the progenitor to all of this is what happened during the YouTube adpocalypse. I mean, that was where this all came from, was because originally, before that event occurred, essentially YouTube was just placing ads on all content, and the advertisers weren't really paying attention to what what content was being utilized to advertise their product. But when, like, some of those large YouTubers got themselves embroiled in controversy, the advertisers all of a sudden started taking notice and going, oh shit, we don't want to associate our brand with this particular individual and the kind of shit that they're saying. So YouTube, you need to take our ads off of their content immediately, or we're rescinding our contract with you. So then YouTube went through and implemented the demonetization strategy, which meant that anybody who, broke the TOS or towed a particular line that wasn't politically popular or whatever the case may be, they demonetized the content, allowed the content to stay up, but the advertisers were no longer in a position where they were marketing their product through people that didn't represent their brand. And that is probably a similar kettle of fish to what you'll experience on Kick if they introduce advertising. I don't quite know how it works with Twitch with regards to moderation of those advertisements. I mean, I haven't spent much time on Twitch really, so I can't really comment. But I know that you can put up ads through their inbuilt system and like just schedule them in as the stream progresses and so on and so forth.
They did take away some of that flexibility.
Did they?
To
Okay.
the smaller streamers? Yeah, some of it. Now,
Right.
and some of them, I know some small streamers that come in here and talk to me from Twitch, and they say that they will set their ads to maximum just to get a few dollars a month out of Twitch.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is crazy because I couldn't imagine sitting there and seeing 30 ads an hour. Or something like that.
I wouldn't do that to my community. I couldn't fucking be bothered, mate. I got better things to do with my time.
Miserable.
But
the ads always have the worst timing too. They always pop up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how you doing?
I mean, like
Energize your battery.
That's one thing I never really understood with the way the ads worked on live streaming is the fact that the ad just comes up at any time and you could miss like some critical moment in the stream and you've got no way of avoiding that. Like the best thing that's going to happen on that stream could happen in that like 15 seconds that McDonald's wants to sell you a fucking cheeseburger. And you're like, well,
can't tell you how many times that's happened.
Yeah.
When I'm watching a stream, they'll be like at the last, we got 2 teams left in this major tournament. And here's freaking a minute and a half freaking ad break.
Yeah.
It's
and then the game's over when you get back and you're just like,
the game's over. Yeah, what happened? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
End game.
Yeah.
A major Fortnite tournament.
Yeah.
Now, I was in what did he change his name to? Wolfclaw.
Yeah,
I was in his I was in his stream on Twitch there to kind of help him out. And he had his ads set to max, and it seemed like every 3 minutes, man, there was 5 ads rolling.
Yep. And he's the one I was talking about. He's specifically coming here and told me that he was.
I just let it roll, I didn't care. I'm helping him out with getting him a little bit of money coming in, so I just let it roll, man.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to enjoy a stream, though, that's not what you want.
No,
I mean, turn it down.
You're probably one of the good ones, though, Granny. I mean, I don't think most people who don't have a relationship with that particular streamer would want to be sitting through that kind of shit, right? You're just going to put off your audience. They're going to be like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not sitting here and watching, back-to-back YouTube ads every 30 minutes. I'm out. I'm going to go find somebody else.
I do it based on the subscriber number, or if I'll watch if it's a smaller YouTuber that has a 1,500, 2,000 followers, something like that. I'll watch every one of the ads. I do it. I won't even skip. I'll go do something. I'll go pee or take my mind off of it for a minute or two and come back. If it's a big YouTube channel, skip every time.
Yeah.
Skip.
Yeah.
But if I know the content creator or if I follow him somewhere and I genuinely enjoy their product, then I'll watch the ads.
Now, and let me say this: what Mike said earlier, I think it's that's one awesome thing about Kick is we've found a lot of good people that are supportive, and like I said, people that I'd call my friends. So,
thanks for the follows, guys. Cunt Muffin, nice. What a good name. And thanks, Rev Kick Enigma. I appreciate it, man. Even though I know you can't hear me because I'm not streaming on Kick.
Repost his stuff to go into his Twitch channel when I can. and I'm sure, like what Smack was saying, if we all tend to, when we do decide to restream or whatever, if we restream on the same platform, we can do that same stuff for each other there too. Like, we can find ways to pull each other up. We could find, promote, repost things for people.
Cheers
Oh,
for
we
the
can
follow,
find
Smack.
ways to get each other up.
Oh yeah, we can always find ways.
Find ways in a heartbeat to get each other up.
Oh yeah.
Yo, cheers, B-Ball. Appreciate you, man.
But yeah, I agree with Smack. It would be it would be a good idea. I was thinking, restreaming on Twitch. Once, I've heard some things that X. I didn't know you had to pay for it. I know X is still, people have said something about it being weird to read their chat. I don't think that's integrated into anything yet.
It is hard because, well, I mean, you can read the chat from the website itself, right? But if you're going to do restreaming or multi-streaming, it's quite convoluted because it doesn't actually feed the X chat into the bulk chat that you get through other platforms like YouTube and Twitch and so on. So it is a bit janky because you've got to have X open in a separate window as well as your other, streaming platforms. So that may change with time, but that's just the way it is for now.
X's way they display too when someone's live. It always reminds me that they're like in those voice chats with people or something.
Yeah. It's kind of it's kind of weird. And I heard some complaints about people saying, and I don't even know how it works on X. Like people were saying they still hadn't got a sub button. I don't know what cut X takes. There's all these things going.
B-Ball over here. How long ago did you change the name?
For sure. But I kind of wanted to get, a little bit more smoothed out. For me anyway, I just got to figure it all out. Like, are you using, I'll just ask you guys, because I was using Restream when I did the 2 days on Twitch, because I did it only the 2 platforms because I wanted it to be free because I was testing something out, right? I hear that there is an OBS add-on that does it, but I don't know how chat integration happens. Like in my dream world, I could stream to 2 or 3 platforms and then everything be integrated in one place where I could see, hey, this person's from Twitch, this person's from Kick, this person's from YouTube, and you could just see the chat very easily and flow with it. Because if anything, sometimes I have my boring ass moments. Sometimes, we have funny moments, but if nothing else, I read chat. I look over, I try to make sure that I'm doing that. And it would suck to be on a platform and not be able to communicate with the people that are watching you, like, very easily,
I think you've probably got 2 options, right? So there is an OBS plugin that you can use that allows for multi-streaming, but it functionally works a little bit differently than, for example, something like Restream or Streamlabs being the other alternative for multi-streaming. With the plugin for OBS, what it actually does is it will create multiple streams and send them to the relevant RMTP endpoints. And that means that you have to have the bandwidth capacity to have up to 4 or 5 streams or however many you want to go out at the same time. So you have to have the relevant upload speed to account for that. If you don't, then you'll end up sacrificing quality and integrity of your streams across all the platforms because it'll try to service all those endpoints, but it won't be able to keep up with the upload demand. You can integrate chat relatively easily because you can just take something like Bottrix and use it as a browser source, and you can implement like another plugin where you can monitor that chat as a separate window. So that's not so complicated. But really the issue comes down to having multiple streaming endpoints that you're trying to service all at the same time. The way to circumvent that is to utilize a service like Restream or Streamlabs, because instead of that, what they do is they take your stream directly, just one source, and then they'll funnel it off from their cloud platform to all of the relevant endpoints. So you only have to have enough bandwidth to push one stream, not 4. So that's where the sort of discrepancy is. I mean, if you're living at where I used to live before I moved out into the middle of buttfuck nowhere, I had 4 gigabit down, 4 gigabit up, so it didn't matter. Like I could stream at like infinite quality to like a bajillion different things at the same time. But now I'm on Starlink, so my upload speed is capped at somewhere around 20 megabits per second. So I can only manage one at a time, which means instead I use Streamlabs because I can't justify using the OBS plugin, even though it's free, because my stream quality would be so shit that nobody would want to watch it in the first place.
Hey, you got to tell Daddy Elon to do better on that shit.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I get like 200 megabits down. Can't have 200 megabits up. Like, good lord.
Now, Adam, do you restream currently? I do not.
No.
Okay. Now I've been.
Yeah, that's right, Liberty. I for a period of time was very rich in internet, and it was the best time of my life, to be honest. The amount of shit I downloaded and uploaded was just absolutely bonkers. And the speeds were insane. Like, it was so fast that with Steam, your bottleneck was your CPU trying to process all of the downloaded files. It was not the internet itself.
On YouTube, he's streaming all these places. So I probably for not putting. I think in the near future, I will probably be streaming on multiple platforms just because. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, and I, maybe I could get a penny of revenue from ads from Twitch. Maybe I get that check for a dime.
Yeah.
That fella said from
like
tit
that.
there for a second. Y'all hear that? Y'all heard that, right? He said from tit out of Twitch.
Penny for tits.
I mean, they might get more visibility if they were named Tit. But yeah, so I mean, in the near future, I think I'm probably going to do that. But like I'll say it again, Kick's been my only real home, and I'm definitely glad I started streaming on Kick.
I've got some excellent antivirus protection, Liberty. All the porn is safe. Don't worry. In 4K, beautiful HDR.
That I picked Kick. I could have easily picked Twitch and just fell off into the void. But it's nice to know too that I feel like that if Kick does go down, then I've met enough cool people that would follow over to Twitch to where I would have a really good start on Twitch too. Like, we did it 2 days? We multi-streamed, and we got a lot of the people, like 30 some followers from here, pretty much, that came over.
It was a lot from here.
Yeah. So I mean, that means a lot to know that you have people that are willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, as soon as Uber told us he was.
You just don't tell my wife about that collection, Liberty. We'll keep that secret between you and me.
Because I mean, with his viewpoint on what's going on with the whole Kick situation right now, I 1,000% understand it, 1,000% stand behind him on it too.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a difficult thing because on the one hand, I guess there's multiple ways that you could look at it, and I think for me, I was really conflicted with the decision because I've met some really cool guys, yourselves included, and some people from Australia that are a little bit closer to home for me, and they're around when I'm streaming because I know the time zones are a bit fucky, so it's hard to sort of catch each other. The only benefit for me is that I can see you guys during the day because I work from home, so I kind of just lurk in the background, but. Yeah, I was really conflicted because I didn't want to leave the platform where, I was having some really great interactions with you guys. I was having a lot of fun. And as Hoki was saying before, I was, enjoying a bit of a period of a rise there, and I was getting some exposure that I really never thought I would have in my life. I did this purely for the sake of just meeting a few people, talking some shit, having some degenerate banter, and having a laugh. But it's been significantly more successful than I ever thought it would be, which is pretty surprising given my initial motivations. So it's been a hard decision, but I guess, you know, for me, it really just comes down to the fact that irrespective of what benefit I may personally get from this experience, I can't stand by something that's fundamentally at odds with my personal values. And even though I can't say for sure whether or not what, you know, occurred actually did happen behind closed doors, until such time as they, you know, are willing to acknowledge that there are some fundamental flaws in their moderation policies and the kinds of people that they're promoting, I can't, in good faith, you know, stream on their platform. I'm more than happy to support you guys, but it's just a matter of what I guess I'm willing to do myself.
You was talking about Australians, man. I got an asshole Australian buddy, right? That Uber's in the middle of this serious talk here, and he makes me bust out laughing because he says in my chat, Pookie works from a home, also a nursing home.
That's not surprising because that's Sini's main goal in life is to come in when we're having serious moments and throw something like that in chat.
Now I have while he was working.
I try to do it all the time.
I know, Adam. Adam's another one. Another one.
Working one day, and he had us pulled up, and he said something in my chat, and I said something about Sini's mom and made him laugh out loud at work. So that kind of made my day.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, I will. I don't know if I'll watch it live tonight, but I'll go back and watch the what Steak Eddie has to say. The timing is interesting. I think it's probably some damage control, for sure. But he's bringing back his talks every week now, and he said he encouraged people to talk about anything and bring anything up. And I will say this now. I've talked to Uber about this too. One of Kick's biggest people that goes at them all the time. They go after KCIP. They go after the big streamers at the top. It's this guy named Kick Joker. And the stuff that he's brought up and the stuff that he's went after Kick for, just the other day, Kick granted him KCIP. So I think he's having a stream coming up. He may have already had one. I just looked through his stuff in Twitter, but he was going after one of the Kick streamers, and he's like, "Should I turn on Kick KCIP while I do this? I think I should."
Adam got the mason jar too.
Oh, y'all both got mason jars? What the hell?
You got some moonshine.
Adam up in Ohio with a mason jar. Let's go. You need to put some sweet tea in that, and you're officially a Southerner.
I bring these down because they're ginormous, and I drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
So they're ginormous.
Adam, any way that your baseball team can give my baseball team some wins?
Man, I was gonna open with that. I was gonna open with that. But there's a good conversation. I was gonna make a graphic and post it. Like, what you said the White Sox were gonna do?
My team is ass. Like, they are absolutely terrible. Literally worse than in the major leagues.
Yeah.
No other team's worse.
But
you know what's funny? They beat us. They beat us bad the last series. The White Sox kicked our ass. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that's good for you.
I was laughing because you weren't streaming, so I was like, "Thank God." I don't want to have to hear that shit.
Hey, I wouldn't have talked shit anyways, because just look at the record.
Yeah. It was rough. It was rough.
If we were going to beat somebody, the Indians is who we need to beat.
Yeah, kicked our ass. I
But
think it was a 4-game series. You guys took 3 of them. I think.
Hell
It
yeah.
was brutal. It was brutal.
Back to the, we talked about it too, Uber, and I'm not sure if it's kind of, Kick kind of checking itself a little bit too, or what's behind that. But I'm sure, Smack, you follow this stuff. I don't know how much Granny and Adam follow the stuff that goes on Twitter. But I thought that was kind of interesting also.
I try to stay away from Twitter as much as I
mean,
can.
it's good for your health to stay away from it.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
100%,
Sure.
yeah.
It's true.
Baseball, wrestling, y'all. Baseball, wrestling, y'all. That's literally all I.
I mean, I think it's good for you to throw a little UFC in there too.
Well, that's
Yeah. Like, sports.
More importantly, though, are we really third on that list?
Yeah, I know. I like how you put us third. Come on, Adam.
No. I mean, it's all in the bunch. It's all in the bunch. We're all together.
Equal priority. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that the timing around their choice of giving him kick KCIP at that particular moment was rather convenient. I don't know if that's a bit conspiratorial, but at the end of the day, they did it right after that drama occurred, and I feel like it was probably a little bit of publicity management, because they went to the one person who was extremely critical of them. And I'm not a
critical.
Big fan of that guy. I think 90% of what he does is clout. Like,
he says that he's a drama. He's a drama streamer.
He's a faker, 100%. But
it is good to see, though, that they didn't pull an Elon Musk. Like, he's talking shit about them all the time.
Yeah, Elon Musk would have just been like, "You out of here."
Him. They didn't ban him. They gave him the.
But you have to wonder whether or not the motivation was genuine or disingenuine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I saw it. I don't know. It looked too, I'd say, set up in a sense.
Too set up, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like it's almost like, here, we'll give it to you so you can actually like see, or like we can prove you wrong, basically. Yeah. So I felt it was given to him.
Oh, you just created a new rabbit hole, both of y'all, on YouTube for people to go down. Yet another rabbit hole. But
we probably just gave him more content, right? He's going to find this somehow. It's going to end up on Twitter, and oh my fucking god, here we go again.
But yeah, it's very interesting. But I do want to see that. I want to see what Eddie says, and we'll go from there. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, regardless, my decision to, I don't know if I would have started, like, if I would have chose July 14th last year to go all in on Twitch, I don't think I would have been streaming still. I doubt that I would have. Yeah. I don't know who I would have met there, if I would have really met, much of anybody, but I don't think I would have still been streaming, and I definitely wouldn't, have met the people that I've met. So I don't know. It definitely tears at you, though, when you see stuff like this, and maybe Americans are conditioned a little bit more, Uber, because we get bombarded daily with our country being in such a crap hole mess that maybe we're conditioned a little bit more not to expect the best out of companies. They raise our prices, and now they're coming back. They're saying, sorry, we did, over these last few years, we charged the shit out of you guys, but we're sorry.
We're sorry.
Our government's, I think we're conditioned to just expect the worst.
Yeah. I mean,
We're
like,
conditioned just to take it up the ass without lube.
bite the pillow and go
Wait.
ahead and draw.
You're supposed to do it a different way?
Oh no! Oh, yeah, that was gonna stick in my mind, Smack. Oh no, lube
Smack,
Smack.
I think Smack's like
Sorry, word, mama.
he's solely propping up
Dang it.
Vaseline's bottom line with that attitude.
Oh man.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's. I think we do have a. Well, I mean, I don't know that necessarily all New Zealand shares this opinion, but I absorb myself in history and politics. I don't know why. It's probably self-inflicted torture. Maybe I'm a bit of a masochist, but I enjoy sort of intellectual discussions and debates and philosophical, ideological, rabbit holes. So for me, that kind of stuff just pushes my buttons. And as a result, I probably, care a little bit more about the state of discourse in the United States than the average Kiwi, and I understand the way that the corporate structure works over there and the sort of perverse incentives, the revolving door of politics and business and so on and so forth. So I guess I look at it through that lens, and maybe I have a little bit of a nihilistic worldview because of that, but I fundamentally believe that corporations, by and large, their sole motivation is profit. They're not out to be humanitarian. They don't really give a shit about the human cost or the ecological cost of the actions that they undertake in the pursuit of ever increasing line go up. So realistically, no matter what you do, I think you're going to end up in a situation where a company's not going to be presenting the same moral standards that you might uphold in your own personal life, but you're going to have to draw a line in the sand somewhere, because there's no possibility that you're ever going to be able to jerry-rig all of the things that you buy and interact with in such a way that it's 100% ethical. It's just not going to work, because all of the systems that are built and all of the companies that we purchase from operate in unethical ways. So you're going to have to accept some level of I guess, blood on your hands, for lack of a better term. But there's a point in time where that just gets too much, right? And that's the point where you don't cross it any further. And that's, I suppose, for me, the line in the sand was that.
Yeah, especially when it hits that close to home or something like that, like when you can relate to it, I think at that point, that's when that line gets crossed.
It does. But I don't want to... I guess, portray the idea that it only mattered to me because it was something that had happened to me directly. I try very hard to make sure that I'm consistent in the beliefs that I portray, and that I engage in good faith, and that I'm not just doing it simply because it's something that impacts my life. Because, I mean, that would be like taking the political argument that, well, I'm just not going to pay taxes because I don't, utilize any of the services, so therefore it's not relevant to me. And I want to opt out of the system, and I want all the money to keep for myself. Well, that doesn't work. I mean, societally, we all have to, engage in a way that's cooperative. We live in, nations like in the United States. You've got 330 million people that have to be taken care of somehow, and you've all got to function and cooperate together. So that requires some level of opt-in to the system. And, yeah... like, you have to at least engage in good faith with one another and try and treat each other right in order for that to be a sustainable system long term. But I don't think that that's what we're really doing anymore. I think in the last 5 to 10 years, we've become incredibly polarized and partisan, where we view each other as combatants in a cultural war with one another. And we're no longer able to work together towards the common good and a common goal. And I think that that's really where a lot of the problems lie. I mean, that's outside of, I guess, the issue of kick, but it's sort of endemic of why those kinds of people are becoming more and more prevalent, I guess, and why those issues are becoming more and more prevalent on platforms like Kick.
Yeah. Adam, you keep turning green every now and then.
I don't know what's going on with it. I keep noticing it. It keeps like getting my attention. Good faith. What is that? Literally nobody.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely needed.
Yeah.
Morals are kind of a thing of the past now, man. Like everybody, the more you take a look at the world, man, it's everybody for themselves. There's
Yeah.
no like even groups of people even that get together and they end up breaking apart, and it's like it's everybody for themselves, man. I don't really understand it. Like we can have we can have us together right now and we get along perfectly fucking fine, but why can't we get like I don't know, leaders of any fucking thing to get together and get along perfectly fucking fine? Like they all just bicker between each other and shit like that. And we all have different views on something, but we don't sit here and like argue about it or anything like that. Like we get along just fine.
But that's the reason
I don't
probably
know.
that we'll never be
We get along
leaders.
shittily.
I mean, Adam likes a shit ball team, but
What? Fourth best baseball team in baseball. Come on, jeez. Just beat the Blue Jays today again.
anybody can beat a bird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't exactly know what. I don't know why, but it seems like, and maybe I could be wrong. I think I think things come out a lot more because of social media.
Oh, easily.
People, people. You used to just know your neighbor if you talk to them every now and then, but now your neighbor can go on all these social, media platforms and post their thoughts about every single topic that you never wanted to know and
Yeah.
never wanted to hear from them, but it's there.
You know what they need? They need a dislike button on social media.
Oh God. Can
Well,
you
some of them
imagine?
do have the thumbs down.
Yeah, that way you can
Facebook
be
has
like,
the mean mad face or the thumbs down.
yeah,
Yeah.
that way you can be like, I don't like that shit. Get that shit out of here.
The problem is, though,
Yeah.
is that it causes engagement, though, Granny. I mean, whether or not
Yeah.
you like the content is irrelevant. If you engage with it, that's what the algorithm wants you to do.
Yeah,
so it'll
yeah, that's
continue to
true.
feed you that
Yeah.
shit.
And that's a question too. Do you think, we don't have ads yet on Kick? Do you think in some ways controversy controversy can sometimes be a good thing where it keeps, a company's name out there and, people are talking about it and stuff
advertisement.
like that. Yeah, it's free advertisement.
Yes and no. I think that the idea that there's no such thing as bad publicity is probably a little bit of a fallacy. It depends on the context, but in the case of Kick, I think that bad publicity is probably genuinely just bad publicity, and the reason for that is because their underlying business model of trying to prop up stake through utilizing Kick is already a morally complicated arrangement, right? Like people have strong opinions about gambling, and if you want to continue to function in that space, then you have to uphold a high standard so that you're not subject to constant societal criticism. Because if you are, it's likely that you'll end up getting regulated out of existence.
True.
Yeah.
By the way, Adam, you have a message from Dub in my chat that he'd like for you to see.
No, he told Hookie to tell you.
He did tell me to I'll let you read it.
That you'll end up getting regulated out of existence.
But yeah, Cini, you've got the thumbs down always. But yeah, it's the worst part is like, okay, take me and Granny for example. We live out in the middle of nowhere. We're definitely rural. And basically our choice is, unless we want to drive a long ways away, we have to go to Walmart. Like Walmart is
I
like,
still got to drive a long ways away to get to
well,
work.
yeah, you even got to drive a long ways to get there. I mean, Granny takes his horse and his carriage down to Walmart.
Fucking Amish.
Hey, I can't afford a horse and carriage. I gotta steal the neighbor's horse and carriage.
but you take some of the things that have come out recently about Walmart, and but you have no choice. It's
Yeah.
there's something that came out the other day where Walmart used to take out death insurance policies on their employees and
Oh,
cash
gosh.
out on them.
Yeah.
And it was called like a dead peasant thing is what they called it in the corporation. Dead peasant insurance or something like
Yeah.
that. And
I could take a life insurance policy out on any of y'all. I really can. I could take one out on anybody.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, it really doesn't. But you can do it. You can take one out on anybody.
peasant policy, yeah, Liberty. It's and the other things you learn about our corporations in America, and you're just like, it's wild, man. Like now, if a truly ethical corporation came along, I wouldn't believe it. Like I just it would be impossible for me to believe.
Dude, you can't even trust the churches and stuff, the people that are supposed to be ethical.
No.
Like you can't even trust them, and they should be the most ethical places in existence. But yeah,
thanks for that, Liberty.
Well,
I'll try to die at the appropriate time.
It really comes down to the root cause of all of those problems, and that is just innate human greed. I mean, that's the fundamental
terrible.
reason why all of those systems are broken.
yeah. Lady Banana said, "I think those are the worst places."
Yeah.
The churches.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
They're
all the
worse because they're
churches.
hypocritical and they're self-righteous, and that just grates you
Yeah.
the wrong way.
Yeah,
It's-
they're.
It's
Yeah.
wild. And I guess they were probably like this all along, but now things just come out and whistleblowers happen, and people spread it more often now. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The whole situation, it makes you
What's up, lady?
it makes you have a really negative feel for humanity,
Yeah.
which sucks. But
I say it all the time. The world would be a beautiful place without people.
well, I mean, they keep going with AI. We might have that.
You don't need to assume I'm right, Adam. You can tell me I'm a fucking idiot, mate. Like, just because I talk doesn't mean that what I'm saying is truth.
You could literally say Hitler's a great guy, and I'm gonna be like, you know what? Yep, buy it. But
Wait, we had that talk. I don't think Uber's gonna say that.
Oh,
I
Christ.
know.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, Lady Banana, Thanos was onto something.
Thanos. Yeah.
So it just needs a snap.
If only, I'd be down for Thanos if Thanos, snapped in the absolute worst of the worst people, like just vanish. I don't think we would have very much of a government left.
Shit, what if we were gone still? What if he thought we were the worst of the worst?
Yeah, I don't think that's possible. Well, I mean, we'd have to be way down the line, but
We
yeah.
wouldn't have any movies to watch anymore. We wouldn't have any fucking music to listen to.
Yeah, and I hate that too. I hate that too. Like people that you used to watch movies and you kind of looked up to when you were a kid, and you find out like they were pedos or
Am I
they
bad
were-
because I still watch the movies though?
I know, man. That's something I've had conflicts with. I'm like, I love this movie. Do I still watch it?
I
Well,
still
think
watch
about this. Think
He
about
didn't touch
this.
my wiener.
in the freaking in the 80s. Yes, I'm old. Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show. Bill Cosby was everybody's dad.
Yeah.
He was the quintessential dad.
I
Bill
still watch
Cosby.
it sometimes.
And yeah, look what Cosby did.
I still watch it sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
It's it's depressing sometimes. It definitely is.
Will Smith he did what he did. You know, smacked the shit out of what's his nuts, and I still watched Bad Boys.
Well,
I still do
yeah,
all that. I
but
still
that's
listen.
not.
I caught myself listening to a P Diddy song the other day on the radio.
Fucking hell.
You know, like
The diddler
it came on the
himself.
radio. I'm singing it. You know, I'm like, yeah, it's fucking P Diddy. What
Hey,
am I doing?
it's a catchy tune.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like this form of conditioning, man. It's sad, but yeah, I mean, I just think it sucks. You don't
Up to-
like I don't find myself expecting the best anymore. I expect the worst. And
oh yeah.
it's just sad.
Hope for the best, expect the worst.
Yep.
The thing is, I think, is that you have to start in life with a particular frame of reference through which you view everything and every action that you take. That's the only way to go through life remaining morally consistent. Otherwise, your innate nature that will lead you to greed and self-indulgence and self-fulfillment will take over and win in the long run.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
See, that's
It's
why
true,
I
though.
listened. That's why I listened to that P Diddy song, and I might have been singing along with it, but I didn't call him up and be like, "Hey, man, you want to have one of those parties?"
Make it
Yeah,
so
I mean,
fast.
like, I wouldn't apply what I just said to things like, popular culture, because I mean that stuff permeates no matter what you do, and it's
Yeah.
almost impossible to sort of like boycott everything. And as you correctly pointed out, Hokie, that behavior that we later found out about Bill Cosby, it only came to light, 15 years after his career had even ended. So,
Oh,
yeah.
like a lot of these, and there'll be a lot of the shit that goes on that we'll never find out and we'll never know. I mean, once you know, and if it happens to go against your personal belief system, then you can choose to abstain from that content if you so desire. But you can't be held accountable for supporting somebody that you didn't know was secretly a fucking sex pest. I mean, particularly given the fact that you had no personal relationship with the person in the first place.
I can make a pretty nasty cocktail.
It's freaking.
I drink your cocktail all the way down to the bottom, Granny.
Oh my
But we kind of heard from Uber what he would like to see, Kick come out and do. What you would like to see from Kick in the future. Smack, do you have anything that you would like to see from Kick in the future, or things that would make you feel better, and about Kick and stuff like that?
I don't know. Like, I agree with Uber for sure, but in my mind, Kick is just so new. Like, how it's going to be easier to pick off the bad in Kick right now than say Twitch or anything. And so, yeah, of course, I want them to do better. Will they? Time will tell, of course.
Yeah.
My voice probably isn't going to be as loud as others that can make the statement. So I think they can do better. Are they? I hope so. Is it going to affect my streaming on Kick? No, though, because I'm not putting myself in that drama, like surrounding it or anything. Like Uber, you have a personal connection with it. I didn't go through what you went through. Like, it's just the differences. But do I respect his opinion with why he stopped? Yeah, of course. So
yeah, that's totally fair. Like, just so you guys know, and I try to make this painfully clear, when I express my personal view on it, it is just that. It's a personal view. It's not a judgment against you guys for choosing to do something different. I understand why you do what you do, and I tend to agree with you. I think fundamentally, you're not engaging in the shit that's the toxic part of the platform, so therefore you can remain in your own little corner and hang out with your community, and that's fine. You're separated and insulated from those broader problems. But yeah, I guess it would just be nice for them to try and put the best foot forward. Because I think, like, I'll say this. I know Twitch has its own problems, But Kick has seen all of those problems, right? They came 20 or 15 years after the fact. They knew all of the issues that Twitch went through. They saw the evolution, and they had the canvas to go forward and do the right thing without making the same mistakes. But they chose not to do that, and they went and did the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's almost impossible. Like, because if you look throughout history, what have we learned? Like, one war doesn't solve anything. It leads to another war eventually. It's almost impossible for some reason to not fall in the same footsteps.
Yeah, people don't,
I don't know
do
why.
that basic thing where you should learn from history. Learn from, but plus the way the culture is now, it's just, it seems like stuff like that, controversy, drama, reels people in. Now, do I think that, I do think that if the plan is advertisements on Kick, like they said, they're going to have to. They will absolutely have to get mainstream corporations to come in and advertise on Kick. I think that they will absolutely have to shut down a lot of these terms of service issues that they're having, and some of issues with streamers. They will have to pull in mainstream advertisers. I mean, that's my opinion, at least.
See, I'm like Lady Banana. I think they mean to do things different, but eventually it ends up down the same road. Like, I think all it takes is one bad apple. Like one bad one can just make a platform look completely freaking terrible, because how many people were involved in doing what was done? And how many people does Kick employ total?
Well, Kick is a platform.
Yeah, that's what we don't know.
But I would hazard a guess that Kick as a platform doesn't actually employ that many people as an independent entity. The overlap between them and Stake would have a lot of people, and Kick would have a relatively small staffing pool. That would be my guess.
But see, I wonder how many people, though, in that building where that girl works, I wonder how many people were involved in it and how many people they employ total. Like, what would be the ratio of that? Would it be like a small percentage making the whole thing look bad? Or
you have to weight it against the people who are making the decisions, right? So, like, I mean, you could have 95% of your employed staff who don't, engage in that kind of behavior, but the 5% of the leadership who make the decisions do. And then it doesn't really matter if 95% don't engage. If the 5% of leadership do, then you've got a fundamental problem that needs to change either way.
Right.
And they're the ones that the accusation was being directed against.
Right. Yeah, because I mean it makes the people on the platform that weren't doing anything wrong though, like, look bad, and it's because of those top people though.
That's what gets me, because all of us, that's what, and I'm sure there are bigger streamers on the platform that are like legit. They don't do anything, that crosses boundaries or anything like that. And it does the actions of some of those, because I've seen comments. I have seen comments, and it's mostly from people that stream exclusively on Twitch. Not so much I haven't seen so many from exclusive people on YouTube, but it's not. It puts a bad, like a smear on the platform. And I know from my interactions with people on the platform, I don't watch Neon. I don't watch Jack Doherty. I don't watch these people. I don't even watch Aiden. I don't watch them. The people that I watch are, right here. I've never seen Smack get up and grab somebody's hat, or go up to a woman and scream something at her, or I've never.
I have. He walked over to Big Mama and he said, "Big Mama."
No, never. I get smacked.
My there's 50-some people Steak Eddie said there's 50-some people that work at
In the
the kick.
kick.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
in
small fry.
Australia.
Yeah, that's very small.
Yeah, and how many of them were accused of doing it?
Whoa.
We don't know other than her saying that she'd walk past offices and hear comments, and
It was targeted at
I-
the community managers, so like the people that run the Kick community and Kick
Right,
Twitter
right.
accounts and that kind of jazz.
And see, it's still like that small percentage that's making the big percentage look bad. Like, and yes, that small percentage is in the leadership roles, but that sucks for the rest of them, you know, because it's going to make the rest of them look like bad people too.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But I guess the difficulty is that if you want to make change in that environment, it's pretty hard to do if the leadership is on board with the bad behavior. And that's the difficulty, and that's where the acknowledgement needs to be made on Kick's behalf. And
see, I would like to see some changes there. Like they gotta have changes in the leadership that actually have some type of like moral shit. You know, they gotta have the mindset of this is a professional business that we're running. And they need to run it like that. Like they need to add a little bit of professionalism at the top. Because again, why the hell should any streamer follow the rules that Kick puts out if the people in the offices aren't even going to follow those rules?
yeah, I mean, I guess it just comes back to what their primary business model is going to be moving forward. I mean, at the moment, we know that Kick is not making money. It's not a profitable platform. So what exactly do they plan to do to turn it into a profitable platform? Or do they always intend to run it as a loss leader, as a way of funneling people to stake? Because that's going to dictate what path forward they take in terms of moderating the content. If they are not beholden to advertisers or other business arrangements with other entities, then they'll just continue to do whatever the fuck they want, so long as people keep moving off to stake, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, because right now, I guess I'm not sure how it would work. I guess it would be us. Where's stake located?
Australia.
Okay, so
No clue.
can they, off of the money that Stake is putting on Kick, can Stake use that as a tax write-off? Is Kick just essentially a tax write-off?
It can run as a tax write-off, yeah, because it's an expense and it's not making a profit. It depends on how they organize their corporate structure, but yeah.
Yeah,
and,
so
and
maybe
Stake's revenue has been going up.
maybe that's what they're fine with. You know, they're content with it just being a tax write-off to where they're not having to pay taxes at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean they have to pay taxes on the profit. So technically speaking, you know, Kick as an expense would be eating into their profit margin. But if the amount of people that it's drawing into Stake is greater than the cost to run the platform, then they probably just don't care.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they do the revenue split
That is why
so low.
Yeah. Because they don't make a dime, right? The revenue split currently, all of them, the 5% that's taken out of the money that we get goes to paying Stripe. That's it. Kick doesn't clip the ticket at all. So there's no profit being made anywhere in Kick as it currently stands. They don't make a dime.
But Stake's revenue is going up.
But Stake's revenue is going up year on year. They're making money hand over fist, like billions of dollars. So,
yeah, I wonder what kind of life that must be to be 20-some years old and be a billionaire.
Maybe I'll know it next life.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm already past the 20-some, so I'll never know then. But I'll never know what that money's like, anyways.
I've got maybe 4 months until I'm 30. So,
oh, you got a couple months left to find out. Better get you some knee pads and work a lot of overtime.
Either that, or I'll come over and buy a lottery ticket in the States because you guys have like $1 billion lottery.
Yeah.
Yep.
Too bad they take half of that right off the bat.
Yeah, true.
It's like 60%.
Yeah,
now,
actually, it is like 60% now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still though, I mean, even if you made $1 billion, if you won the $1 billion jackpot, $400 million.
Yeah, 1.2
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
are you really going to complain?
Hell yeah, I would.
I mean,
then-
that money can
Here's-
go to buying a new tank somewhere.
And you
It's
here's
not
what
going to go
happens.
to us. It's going to buy a
My
tank.
mega yacht.
Here's what happens though. They tax you at the time of your winning, and then you got to pay taxes on it at the end of the year too.
And
you
if
file
you
your
give,
taxes.
and if you give more than like, I think it's 16 to 17,000 to anybody, you can do 16 to 17,000 to somebody as a gift without getting taxed. But if you give them any more, your mother, anybody, if you give them more than that, you got to pay tax on that.
Well,
So it's just like tax upon tax upon tax upon tax.
here's what you do. You just create a trust and make all of your family members beneficiaries of it, and then the government can't touch it.
If I
Yeah.
win the lottery, they're taxing me the first time I'm moving out of the country, and they won't get that other tax. I'll be
Just
moving
tear
to
up
New
that
Zealand.
American passport. Yeah.
We'll stream the tracking of you flying to Greece. Or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
It'll be like the P. Diddy plane.
Air Force Granny. Just,
Air Force Granny, yeah. The Granny Jet account on Twitter.
Now I know you've only been over there for a short time, Uber, but have you so far? I know it's not been very long at all, but have you seen any positives of being on Twitch?
Nah, not really, man. I mean, the only followers that I've had have been you guys. I basically threw away my community, more or less, by doing what I did.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, but, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that Kick does some things and comes out and talks tonight and soon, and we can get Uber back over here. But I am going to, for sure, I'm going to start multi-streaming just because I think it's just it makes sense to kind of put yourself out there and establish yourself in multiple places.
Yeah.
But okay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think fundamentally the strategy that I'm going to have to employ to make myself more relevant on Twitch if I'm going to stay there long term is to change the kind of content that I'm creating. I've done some research and I've sort of crunched a few numbers, and there are ways to grow on Twitch. You've just got to look for the categories that are relatively underutilized or under-catered, should I say, in terms of the creators that actually occupy that space. And there are still places and opportunities. It just means that I'm not really able to do what I was doing before on Kick, which is kind of just doing what I wanted to do. So there's a bit of a sacrifice that's going to have to be made there.
Yes.
Start your OnlyFans.
True.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll just,
True, do
sell
it.
my butthole
I'll
to the
watch it.
world.
OnlyFans is
I
popping
got
off.
five. Where do we sign up? I got 5 on.
I got 5 too.
All right. Well, let's take the last few little bit of time here. I've tried to interject a few things positive along the way. We've crapped on Kick and a little bit on Twitch a little bit throughout the time, but just run through you all. What would you say are some of the best things about Kick, and what you've enjoyed most about being on the platform? Adam, we'll start with you since you came in late.
Perfect.
You're the late student. You get called first.
So what do I like? I like the community. I like everybody that I've met over here. I like the payouts. As far as really anything else goes, it's you know what I really like is I like the no delay on the chat. That is by far is
Didn't you say Facebook had
we're
a terrible delay?
it was like 30 seconds, and like I would say something, and then a minute later read that comment and it would make no sense to me because I've already moved on to another topic. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, what? I'm so yeah. So that's one thing I absolutely love about Kick.
Okay. Smack.
What I like about Kick is that it when I tried before on Twitch, like it was just not to dash like put anything bad on Twitch, but you just Kick has shown me how it feels to actually like sort of be a streamer and like growing, and then of course meeting the people, of course, like you guys I have met. Like those opportunities are, I love them the most. Like I don't really care about the money or anything, because for me it's more of a personal thing. Than like how you see people out there, like they're money hungry. They'll do anything for subs, and it's just like, calm down, please.
Yeah.
So
There's some people that I know that talk about subs way too much. And let me preface this by saying I am for 1 week, my birthday going into my 1 year of Kick, I'm going to put up some things and then I'm going to take them right down afterwards. I'm going to put up some little sub goals and stuff like that. Then I'm going to take them right down. So don't be like, oh, Hokey, what a hypocrite.
Sold
went to
out.
the
What
dark
a
side.
sell out. Oh, Hokey, what a piece of shit. You know.
I mean, as long as you're not
I
selling,
thought that man had dignity.
as long as you're not selling pictures
Motherfucker
of
in a
your
sub goal.
asshole.
Hey man,
Yeah,
don't knock the black hole. All right,
Oh,
it makes money. Makes money
They'll
all
send
around
out
the world.
signed pictures.
But yes, I know exactly what you're saying, Smack. There are people that we know that's the only concentration on their whole. That's like the main focus. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there, Smack.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, that I would say that is it. Just how much of like how I've been able to see myself grow is what I value the most. So,
Yep.
and I'm glad for the opportunity, at least for that.
Uber or Granny, either one.
Go ahead, Uber.
I mean, yeah, I'd probably just echo what Smack said to some extent. Like, I think for me, it was primarily the ability to engage with people because that was what I wanted. You know, I was going through a pretty tough period, and I wasn't really physically capable of doing a whole lot other than sitting at my computer. So it really gave me the opportunity to interact with people, have a bit of a social life, and you know, make some new mates, which I wouldn't have otherwise been able to do in that particular time in my life. And you know, I think I was able to grow a lot quicker than I thought I would, and have a broader reach than I thought I would, in a very short space of time. And as Smack said as well, it made you feel like you were actually a streamer. Whilst, you know, you're still living in a bit of a fantasy land. It's not like you got fucking millions of people sitting there watching you and rooting for you. You
Right.
still feel like you're engaging and having fun, and the content that you're making is actually being enjoyed by the other people that are watching you. And there's something satisfying about that, not necessarily because it's self-aggrandizing, at least in my case, but just because, you know, I feel like I'm actually, you know, bringing happiness to people. I'm, you know, lightening their day, having a bit of a laugh, making a difference in a small but measurable way. And that's what I appreciated most about Kick, was because because I wouldn't have been able to achieve that same reach had I stuck it out on Twitch. And I loved the community that Kick had in the early days. And I think a lot of that's probably just because we all, I think, got in at the ground floor. Whereas, you know, things have changed a little bit since then. And maybe that's just more of an artifact of the time and place rather than the platform itself. But nonetheless, you know, in those early days, Kick was really good to me, and it allowed me to do fundraising streams. You know, I raised over $1,000 for Cancer Society here in New Zealand over
Yeah, that was
Mm-hmm.
multiple
awesome.
streams. So, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not had that opportunity. So I'm thankful for that.
Yep. All right, Granny, it's all you. You look like you're in deep focus, but
All right, I need somebody to be on clip mode here in just a minute.
Oh gosh.
All right. All right. So first of all, of course, all the people that you meet, wonderful damn people that you meet all around the world. You can have that opportunity on about any platform, but where the fuck would I have met y'all motherfuckers other than Kick? It wouldn't have happened. So, you know, Of course, you got that. The revenue is amazing. You're not going to find that anywhere else either. Um, no ads right now is also amazing. That's going to be, I think, got to fill in some short-term thing.
Yeah.
But more than anything, what other platform would I have been able to say, King Bush, look at these, look at these.
Gosh, close your eyes, everyone.
Yes.
I'm blind. I'm blind. It's so white.
But yeah, you know,
Hey, guys,
I mean, you get the.
I gotta run to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right
All right,
back.
you're
Oh
fine. You're
God!
fine.
Not,
Oh
not
God,
after
Adam.
that.
Yeah,
I feel violated.
Well, sitting over here uncomfortable now. Jeez.
I think we found the simp for you there, Granny. But yeah, the same thing. I find it amazing.
Oh shit, man!
That is one cool thing about the technology now and social media. I find it absolutely amazing that I can have. Hell, man, how long have we known Sini now? Do we even want to admit
Oh
all the
God, man!
Australians that we've met for 15 years? But then you come to Kick Streaming and you meet people from Ohio, from Utah, from New Zealand. It just goes on.
Conveniently enough, we met Sini through the toxic environment of COD. And we met
Oh, my
these
God.
fuckers right here through the toxic environment of Kick.
I mean, COD. Oh God, COD lobbies. Woo. That's a whole new level of toxic. But yeah, just that. It got me. I got to the point where, because of what had happened to me, I wasn't going out because of the things I've seen. I kind of isolated myself. And it got me back out there talking to people and interacting and stuff like that. Because I'm not kidding you. Pretty much, I was just chilling in the house, and I didn't give other than the people I talked to in Xbox parties or, just Discord or something like that. I just stayed to myself. Um, so yes, it's helped me socially get back out of my shell again. Met some great people. The 95.5 is cool or whatever. I don't focus on that. Like, of course, it would be great to one day get to a point where you had hundreds of people watching or something like that, and you had. I'm hoping that some of the changes, not only more moral changes with Kick and some of their top streamers, but some of the things that Kick is a baby streaming platform, very new. Some of the things that they can add to bring more actual, like Farrell was talking about, bring more actual viewers in to your streams. And let me just put this out there. Two things. If you are a streamer on Kick and you want support back and you want to work that way, please don't be a douchebag. And please don't come into people's streams and be like, I got you locked all night.
Got you all night, fam.
I've got you. You were always with me. You're the greatest streamer in the world, and then leave 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
I will say, every streamer out there, there are tools that you can use to find out, true people, and just use leaderboard or top, and you can see that. And streamers, please, it gives you a very bad look. And I'll let you guys talk on this too. It's a very bad look to always talk about subs all the time. In my opinion, it gives you a bad look, and I think people will start to realize very quickly that your whole purpose is, you know, you don't want to really grow. You don't really want to provide so much. You're just thinking about money, 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 money,
Yeah.
money all the time. That's like the only thing that's on your mind.
Yeah. 100%.
Anybody?
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
sorry.
there was that awkward
He was telling
silence.
me about subs. He's like, I could go for a sub right now, like a sub sandwich.
Yeah, are we talking like Philly cheesesteak,
God, that
Italian, meatball
Sounds really
sub?
good.
Yeah, I'm just hungry now. Yeah.
I
Jeez.
mean, I agree. I mean, it makes you look like shit. Now, granted, there are people who are in need out there, right?
Oh,
But
absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
but don't put yourself out there like that, man. Like, have a little bit of self-respect. Just don't do it, man. It makes you look really, really pathetic.
Yeah.
Just
Um,
remember, you can call me a fraud when I do that for 1 week.
I'm gonna come in there and roast the shit out of you
Birthday.
every day.
Keep the sub too.
like a
I'll
like a
sub
big
to him
ass
and then
event,
roast him.
a big ass event I can kind of see because it does give people an opportunity to come in and be like, hey, you know, happy birthday, or drop you a sub or something like that, where you might be able to get yourself something nice.
Get yourself something nice.
But other than that, like
$4.95.
I'm gonna go get myself a dime bag.
the people who do that shit on a daily basis, though, man, like, it's pathetic. Like, don't put yourself out there like that. You know, have a little bit of self-respect and just goddamn get on and do it because you enjoy doing it. Do it because you enjoy talking to the people that come into your chat. Never make them feel obligated that they have to do anything. I mean, them being there is enough.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, I would take 100 active chatters over 100 active subs any day of the week.
I would too.
He says that, and I'm actually locked in his dungeon right now.
Oh,
That's why it's so dark.
It's
He
so
likes
nice when you actually get a real chatter that's not a streamer come in and talk to you. For a
Oh
while.
my god!
Yeah.
It's
Right.
He likes my dungeon, though. That's why he was gonna have to go to the bathroom when I showed my titties.
It's all right. I've got the Judas cross set up for you guys when you come over here. It's ready to go. Don't worry.
Yes, yes.
The other thing though with the subs too is like if you're doing that consistently, that's the only reason people are coming in there too. Like you're pulling in the wrong crowd.
Yeah,
Is how I look at it.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, Vice even said he don't fuck with people that are like that, man. Like, it turns everybody away, man. I have seen, no shit. I never mention names, right? But I have seen a couple of streamers who, like I said before, they grew to a pretty big level. Like, these people were making a nice, comfortable amount every fucking month from subs, right? But they kept making it about subs. They kept making it about subs. Now they got nothing.
Yeah. You got to be thankful for what you have. You got to be grateful for it.
Yeah.
Who has multiple $5 to just hand out these days too?
Who
Who am I to ask for? Who am I to ask for your money?
Yeah.
Like at $5, like, and that's kind of like a thing where I kind of wish they would bring kicks in, like the little like bits or
Which
stars.
they're supposed to.
Yeah.
They're supposed to,
And,
from what I
like,
understand.
Like, it's not as nearly as bad as, you know, like, hey, thanks for the 50 stars. People want to give. Hence the reason why I said earlier on Facebook, I made a killing on stars. People want to give, but like, for a lot of people, $5 a month or $5 every couple streams, you know, for a gifted, that's a lot of money. That's a couple hours, you know, not 5 itself, but like you string a few together, that's a couple hours of work for people.
Well, you could support one streamer for $5, or you could support 5 streamers for, you know, $1 each.
Yeah, $1 and kicks. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah, I
so
mean, I think
we've
Sorry, no, you go, Hokie.
Go ahead, Uber. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. I was just going to say, I think you're 100% right, Adam. I think people want to be able to show that they support a content creator, and it's hard to do if you've only got one option to do that. And being able to have multiple ways that you can engage with the stream actually makes it probably better for the viewer, but also makes it more sustainable in the long term, which I think is probably one thing that I will give Twitch credit for, is that the multitudes of ways with which you can engage with the streamer is impressive. There are so many plugins, so many extensions. You can literally manipulate like a game live while the streamer is playing it. That just makes for such better content creation and so much better audience retention and engagement, which is the reason why viewers hang around on Twitch.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
So what we are, I think what we can all agree on is we need more methods. They need to bring more viewers over, and we need the bird flu pandemic.
Yeah. Round 2 lockdown. Let's go, guys.
Oh man, yeah, the lockdown was crazy though. I watched streamers go from like 2,000 all of a sudden they had 10,000 or 15,000 people in their streams, and it was crazy because nobody had they just had nothing to do. They were just sitting at home.
So they were dropping money on subs.
I'm considered an essential employee now, so I don't care.
Yeah, I was an essential
what am I going to get out?
yeah.
I don't even like. I'm not going to get the free time and get paid to be off work for a little while, man.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, in New Zealand, it was pretty crazy. We had even more stringent lockdowns than you guys did. We were like, there was a period of time in Auckland where we were locked down. I think the longest stint was like 4.5 months or something like that. It was just endless. Endless. And like I was an essential worker, so technically I was able to go to and from the office, so I had some reprieve, but other than that, yeah, you couldn't do fucking anything. You just like, you went to work or you worked from home and then you sat down and you're still in your home. You can't do anything aside from go for a walk around the block. That's it. And that was like that for 4.5 months.
I was essential, man, and didn't want to be.
Right, that was me too.
Store, man. Like I was essential and didn't want to be.
Well, I mean, we weren't going to get paid. Like if the business, I mean, technically there was a wage subsidy for a period of time, but like it's kind of stopped being a thing. So yeah.
Well, and King Bushcam came in here and told me, and I didn't realize this, they couldn't even go to dentist in the UK.
No, we couldn't either.
They were doing their own dental work at home.
There was some exceptions, but you'd have to go to like the hospital essentially, and they would do like a tooth extraction if you had like a massive infection. But that was it. There was no dentistry.
Crazy.
There was nothing.
Damn. But yeah, that's wild.
I did pest control and I had to wear a mask the whole time, even outside. It was the rule. It was like in the middle of summer.
I didn't do it.
So you had mask on mask, like just all the time. Yeah, no. Of course, in the medical field, it was just mask on mask on mask all the time. Now, I will say, I don't know if I could say luckily. Probably not. That's probably the wrong word. But Liberty got very sick with COVID right at the beginning when they didn't know what the hell it was.
Yeah, right.
Luckily, Liberty got very sick.
Well, listen. Yeah, I don't want to say luckily. No, I was going more toward me, but then we got it all. And then I had my little health thing. So as a nurse, I didn't have to go through much of that COVID thing where, nurses had to constantly have masks on to the point where it was cutting into their, flesh.
Yeah.
And, they had to watch countless people die, from, the disease. But yeah, so, I don't know if I could say luckily or not, but, I didn't have to go through that. I saw enough already. I didn't need to see all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think, I 100% respect and I will stand behind Uber's decision. There's little parts of me that it tears at me and I'm like at a struggle, but I'm gonna give them a little bit more time.
Yeah.
I am gonna multi-stream, just because this is, I equate it to this. Maybe it's kind of dumb to equate it to this, but I consider this kind of like a family, and trust me, things happen in families. And you
Especially
gotta,
in Virginia.
yes,
That's
so
West Virginia.
you gotta deal with it, and sometimes you gotta like push through it and hope for the best. And a lot of times, it does end up being positive that comes out of it. But yeah, family, yes, Lobo. So we'll see. I am very interested in the little podcast that he's doing tonight. I'll see what he says over the next few weeks. I'll see what Steak says over the next few weeks. But yeah,
Yeah. Well,
we
I'll
shall see.
I'll say it right now. I hope that they make the right decision and things change. That's all I want. I don't want them to fail. I just hope that they make the right decision.
Yeah, and I don't want them to fail either, because I've got to know so many good people on this platform.
Yeah.
I hope my thing would be things change. We get everything that we want. Kick grows. I think healthy competition is great. I hope that there's multiple streaming platforms at the top where we can kind of go in between, and because the more strong competition you have, generally the businesses make better decisions for their employees. Whereas if it's a monopoly, they tend not to.
100%. It's better for the creators. It's better for the viewers. It's better for the employees.
Right.
It's just better all around.
Right.
Right. Exactly. So that's where I'm at. If you guys, I think we've do you guys have anything else that, I kind of want to get y'all's like ending statements, and see, where y'all are at. But if y'all have anything else y'all want to talk about as far as streaming goes, this is, Adam, we're going to have some more podcasts where we just go straight into sports. Smike, we're going to have some where we talk about, different things also. But, today was just a big, streaming, what's going on in Kick, what's going on out there today. So if there's anything y'all want to talk about here at the end, throw it out there. If not, final thoughts type stuff. And, it's been great. It's been good today.
I can't wait for the debate.
Yeah, the debate. By the way, Adam, a couple days before, we need to do something. And if Granny comes back and he's down, and then the debate
I'm thinking about 3 times a week now for me.
I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. Sorry, 2 seconds.
That's literally my.
Already follow them, check them out. Drop me a sub on YouTube, and then just a follow on TikTok if you're not already.
And Adam, Spike, Uber, do you guys have anything that you would like to talk about before we go? Any final thoughts?
No, I think I'm good, man. But I'm keen to get together with you guys as the political season ramps up in the States. I think that shit's going to be real fucking interesting.
We got
it's going to be a good time.
Oh, it's going to be special.
The debate's the 27th, right?
Yeah. 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Main event.
27th. We're gonna have to run a late stream that night.
Yep.
Yeah, that should be good. Now, there are specific rules that they're using, and they're not letting RFK in at all. But yeah, it's still regardless. And I don't. I don't know that Trump's going to follow any of those rules that have been set out, like going at the opponent.
Mike a lot.
Yeah, they're going to have to just shut it off.
Yeah,
they're going to have to shut it off. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I wish they would have let RFK in.
Every time
he would have just
Trump gets muted, Adam's got to chug a beer.
Yeah. Oh my God, Adam, you're done.
Irrespective of whether or not you agree with RFK's politics, he would have wiped the floor with both of them in a verbal debate.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's why they probably don't want RFK there. I don't think RFK's got a chance in hell of winning because people have been too ingrained in blue and red.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, an infant can wipe the floor with Biden on a verbal debate.
But yeah, it should be interesting regardless.
Yeah.
It should be good. It's probably going to be good comedy.
Yeah.
There's
going to be some clips, man. There are going to be so many clips.
Memes are going to be created.
Yeah.
Yes, memes, clips. Yes, it's going to be.
If we don't have one viral moment, I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah, I
can't imagine.
Biggest letdown.
There's going to be some stuff.
Hey, that's where they get that song from. It's the most wonderful time of the year. The debates.
But yeah, it's. I do wish that they would have let him on there. And I don't know about the second debate. I heard that the first debate. I heard that they had to sign off on a bunch of rules. For the debates. Hey, Mrs. Uber. Everybody.
Hey, where's she going? Hey! Hi.
Pop in to say hi and see who's hanging out today.
We are almost done. We won't take any more of your time from Uber. What
time is it there?
It is 1 p.m.
Yeah, we got him up early to be on here with us. But yeah, I haven't heard the rules of the second one totally. I know CNN has the first one, I think.
Yeah.
Or is it ABC?
No, it's CNN. Yeah.
Okay. So we got to figure out a way, Adam, to be able to take it, and hopefully we could get something from YouTube and grab it and put it over here, so that we can watch it while we're all sitting there talking about it.
It doesn't have to come from YouTube, or can it come from?
I mean, if it can come directly from the source, I think it'll be all right. I have to look into the copyright thing on it, though.
I don't think
you would think a debate would be free access,
yeah,
right?
I don't think there's a copyright for news.
Yeah.
My God, if a debate's not free access, I don't. Yeah.
No, that's public domain.
Okay. But yes, Mike, do you have anything?
The only one thing I've been thinking of is nothing to be talked about, but how Twitch was just sort of against people, any company really against people restreaming to anything. To me, it feels a little petty. Get over it.
Yeah, and I think they dropped that.
Yeah, they ended up dropping it.
But I know it did. It definitely felt petty.
Yeah, it felt like they were. It felt like they were kind of panicking there for a little bit.
Oh, I think they were. I think they were. Okay. Let's. Adam, you looking forward to the debate? Anything else?
Yes.
And then we'll let y'all, kind of say, "Hey, I'm here. This is me," and then we'll go on.
Nah, I wish I didn't have to work. Could have been here from the start.
We're just glad you made it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I made it too.
And I'm kind of glad we didn't have the other day because you said your friend had that problem getting locked out of his car, and you would have been a no-show. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a mess. So it worked out. It worked out for Thursday.
Hoagie's talking to
He's
himself.
yelling at
Where-
someone.
where- Who the hell is he talking to?
He's bobbing his head.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, sorry. I was talking to chat. Sorry. Sorry. What did you say, Adam? My bad.
I don't even remember.
But okay. All right. Shout yourself out. And Granny, I think tonight, since I'm guessing, Smack, are you going to continue streaming later?
Yeah, I still got like 2 hours.
Adam, you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on.
Okay. I was thinking we could, one of us host Smack, one of us host Adam. We can't host Uber right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, guys. Shout yourself out. Let everybody know where you are, what you do, and we'll wrap this one up.
I'm Smackberg. Hi. I stream on Kick. I don't know what to say right now.
No, you're perfect. Just tell them the games you usually stream to, fella.
Oh my gosh, I've been really into Tarkov lately. Big in Overwatch and play survival. Any other? I'm a variety game streamer, so I play all games.
Perfect. Yeah, go check Smack out, everybody. Adam or Uber?
You go, Adam.
I'm Adam World Order over on Kick. I stream Rocket League. I'm terrible at it. Fall Guys. Any game that I can most like get members of the community in. Play a lot of community games. But yeah,
Nice.
I'm not good.
What a fucking sales pitch, eh? Yo, come check me out. I'm no good though.
So if you want to laugh, I'm your man.
Yeah, okay. So I'm Uberfluff, which I think a lot of you probably already know. But currently I'm Uberfluff94 since some fuckwit who hasn't streamed in 10 years took Uberfluff and I can't take their name off them on Twitch. So there you go.
Same way for me with Hokey Pokey. I'm
Yeah.
the Hokey Pokey on Twitch.
I stream a variety of content, but recently I've been doing a lot of Souls-like stuff. So if you want to watch me suffer, if you're a sadist, because I'm a masochist, I would love to have you on board.
Yeah, I think everybody knows me and Granny. They're tired of us.
Yeah.
We just talk a lot. And,
I'm not dead, by the way.
Granny's alive.
No matter what people were
He is
thinking,
risen.
I'm not dead.
Granny has not been. Granny is back from the truck stops and the,
truck
bathrooms
stops.
at
Yeah,
the truck
that's right,
stops.
yeah.
I would do the Undertaker impression of him rising up, but my back would probably fuck up, so I can't do it.
But yeah, hey, another good one, guys. Thanks for coming on here and discussing this stuff. I know it can be a little awkward, especially when you're on the platform still to talk about stuff like this, but it's good. It's good. And I think, I hope that's what happens with some of these discussions and some of these podcasts. I think it's a really good thing. To talk about stuff, just like we talk about politics, we talk about things going on in our lives. But anyway, great job. Thank you guys.
Cheers, homies. Thank you for taking the time to talk
great,
about it.
great.
Yep,
Great
appreciate y'all being
podcast.
on.
By the way, Uber, are you going to be on playing some of the DLC right now, or?
No, I'm probably going to jump off for a while. I might be on later, though.
Okay. All right. All right.
Guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
Love you all.
Appreciate y'all.
All right.
Bye.
Who you want?
Thanks for tuning in to stream, homies. I appreciate you. If there's anybody in there that isn't already in